The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents Something the Boxing Game's Missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. So, guys, we're live once again for the third day in a row. I can't even tell you the last time I went live 3 days in a row. I probably haven't gone live 3 days in a row since we did 90 days of boxing last year. So it's good to be here. It's good to be developing that consistency. It's good to have. Listen, he's here. He needs no introduction because he's known the world over, city to city, state to state, continent to continent. It's the one, it's the only, it's Pops.
Welcome to True School Sports. Fire away, BT.
So listen, True School Sports, the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America, from an American. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you guys for showing up. And Ayete Okada, nice to see all you lovely people again. Listen, big news in Japan, yesterday. Naoya Inoue was at the Japanese Boxing Commission Awards, and he went right up to Junto Nakatani and respectfully just said, "Look, let's liven up Japanese boxing a little more. Let's fight the Tokyo Dome in 2026." So now, we've been hearing speculation and we've been hearing from Ohashi and Mr. Honda and everybody else, but now that we see both fighters in the room say it to each other, now it becomes a bit more real. It becomes that much more of a conclusion. So we're gonna discuss everything regarding Nakatani and Inoue and their fight and how they match up and what needs to happen to get to the fight, what needs to improve from both fighters, that kind of thing, as well as some. I got Pops here, so some of the things that we talked about yesterday, I'm going to be getting his thoughts on those things, and we'll touch on some of the news in boxing. So good to be here, guys. Make sure you smash that like button if you're watching live. If you're watching the playback, smash the like button so this video gets pushed out in the algorithm. And, it's good to be here again, Pops. You got any opening thoughts? You got any opening statements, Pops?
Yeah, I will say a picture says 1,000 words. Last night when I went to bed, I literally seen that, Brendan. But because I'm not aware of what's going on in social media and can't read Japanese, I thought it was an old video from like 10 years ago.
You thought it was old?
Yeah, I see.
You thought it was throwback?
Yeah, because usually I told Brendan, "Hey, Brendan, something happened with him, this and that." But I wasn't sure, so I didn't say nothing. But boy, I think the best thing that Inoue did is shut the media and everybody thinking different assumptions about him not wanting to fight Nakatani, this and that. And he actually did it by his actions so far. So I'm so happy that that's going to happen.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Listen, shout out to everybody here. Let me take some time to acknowledge some of the people that have not only commented but contributed. We got a couple super chats. Shout out to my boy Matt Bergeson. He says, "Is this fight between Nakatani and Inoue comparable to a lightweight Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, or more like a Wilfredo Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez? Is Bam comparable to Sanchez? Bam Rodriguez?" So okay, let me try to answer that piece by piece the best I can. As far as this fight being like Leonard and Hearns, I don't think you can compare it to Leonard and Hearns because Leonard and Hearns were a lot. Inoue is in his 30s. When Leonard and Hearns fought each other, they're both in their 20s. So it's not quite like Leonard and Hearns. If we're talking about in terms of styles, I would say this fight would probably favor Wilfredo Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez a little bit, because Wilfredo Gomez was a fighter that came up from a smaller weight class, and before he moved up to fight Salvador Sanchez, who was a big, long-range guy like Junto, he was knocking everybody out.
Right.
So in that sense, you could say it's kind of like that fight. And as far as Bam Rodriguez being comparable to Salvador Sanchez, they don't fight nothing alike. That's number one. And number two, I don't think that's fair to Bam. Like, Bam is a good young fighter, and he's on the pound list, and he's doing some great things. But I wouldn't put that on no fighter. I wouldn't put that. That's a big standard. He's probably the best Mexican fighter to ever live. But Bam is very good, but his style isn't anything like a Salvador.
Yeah, and I will have to say, to go along Bam. Bam has beaten a lot of fighters, but I don't think his legacy is going to be as big as a Hearns, as a Sugar Ray, as a Bam, and as a Sanchez. I mean, Sanchez and Bazooka and all them, because he's not willing. But when the times back then when I was growing up watching the Four Kings and them, they're willing to fight each other. They're willing to get out and have fights, this and that. And with Bam, I don't see him yet like pushing going up more. And I want to see him fight tough opponents.
Yeah, I mean, look. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. They're putting good fighters in front of Bam. Obviously, a lot of these guys he's fighting are a little older, and they're not, in their prime anymore. But I'll tell you this, just because I don't want this isn't a Bam Rodriguez live, but the fight I would like to see Bam take, because this guy is on the pound for pound list just like him, would be Kenshiro Taraji. I like that fight a lot. I think that fight would do a lot for him, and hopefully all parties involved could go ahead and get that done for him. But listen, I'm not taking nothing from Bam. Bam's a very good fighter, but I don't want to put that on any fighter. It's not even just a Bam thing. Like if you said BT, could you compare Naoya Inoue to Salvador Sanchez? Like Naoya Inoue is great, and he's gonna go to the Hall of Fame one day. But Salvador Sanchez is like on a special tier. Like there's not many fighters. I mean, Inoue, you could put him up there because he's accomplished a lot in his career. But like that's a big standard to put on anybody. And I one thing I'm big on in boxing when I evaluate these guys' careers is every fighter has their own journey. So like Salvador Sanchez's journey isn't like Inoue's journey, and the Monster's journey isn't like Bam's journey. So I kind of just look at everybody on a case by case.
And a great example of that just recently when Gabriel Rosado was talking on shout out to the boxing and who Rosado was trying to explain that to Mr. Bill Haney. He says my journey was different than yours. Mine was harder. I had to go and scrape breadcrumbs and fight to get on my mind to make my millions. Where this is not a Haney lobby, but Haney's trying to they have money to do it, that make it easier for him. So like you said, every boxer have a story and a journey to tell.
Okay, so I hope that answer was satisfactory to you, Matt. Thank you for your super chat. Shout out to David Esther, long time viewer. Good to see David in the chat as always. He says, this is a little bit off topic, but I think the only hope of Matias getting a big fight is if Arnold Barbosa beats Teofimo Lopez. What do you think about that, Pops? Because like the guys with big names, they don't want to fight him. Tio had a chance to fight him. He didn't fight him. Do you think if Barbosa gets past Tio, do you think Barbosa fights Matias?
I think Barbosa's willing to do that. Because you know why? Because he's hungry. He hasn't gotten the credit to be that fighter. He only has a half a belt or whatever they call it now. The belt he got, and what I'm getting at is he's hungry and he's pushing everything. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So I think as long as he keeps being that hungry person and gets probably to a certain degree where he can win a couple belts or division or 2 division challenge, I don't think he's afraid. He's afraid of that. The other fighters, for some reason, they all shine away, and it's kind of hard for me. And it makes me more angry. Like in Tio's case, no disrespect to them, but money wise, he's made enough fucking money. Just go in and fight. You worry about your legacy. You don't want to wait until you're 80 years old and you have to sleep in a wheelchair wondering why people are not questioning your legacy, Yeah, so, I'll tell you this about Barbosa. I had a chance to interview Barbosa last year because last year I was out in LA. One of my good buddies, Eric Lanzas Jr., who's a 140 pounder. Yeah. I had him out in LA sparring, Jose Cepeda and things like that. And while I was out there, I was covering. I covered a Golden Boy show. I covered Jojo Diaz versus Jesus Perez, and I remember Barbosa was there, and I interviewed Barbosa. Wow! And I asked him about fighting Matias, and he said back then, this is like March or April of last year. He said he'd fight Matias, so I got receipts. Yeah. If he beat Tio and don't fight Matias, I got some receipts. I think he'll do it. Yeah. He's got a lot to prove for himself and to be successful like them. All right. Last comment I'm going to address, and then we need to get into our main talking points, but shout out to all 17 of you here. Enrique Luna, shout out to Enrique, long-time viewer. I got a lot of love for Enrique. He's always showed a lot of love and support over the year. He says, will True School Sports be at the Tokyo Dome in 2026? Listen, I want to go with him. And then get your passport. Gotta get your passport. We're going to get that done. We're going to get that done because that'll be for me to be there for that. I missed to go see him, but if other fighter, but to see, go to Japan and see that fight. Make a fight. Yeah. I'm already planning my 2026 Japan trip. Going to Japan is becoming a yearly tradition in my life and on True School Sports, and you guys enjoy it. And the Japanese boxing content is growing here in the audience, and the appetite for Japanese boxing content is growing in the boxing community. So, if this fight gets made next year at the Tokyo Dome, I have every intention of going to Japan for this fight. In fact, today I was actually talking to Sean to tell about it because Sean was like, Sean told me, he was like, yeah, he's not sure about if he's going to go. Yeah, I'm like, listen, I told Sean, I said, look, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. We're going to go. Yes, so I'm going to speak it into existence. But listen, we've talked enough. I do see another super chat, so I'll get to it later. I'll get to it in a second, Matt. But I want to get into my talking points, Pops, because we have to talk about this. Mm-hmm. So we know that Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani, they met each other face to face today, right. and this is a big fight for it's not just a big fight for Japanese boxing.
it's not a niche Japanese fight. This is a big fight for what's going on the world level, right? Because I mean, just going on the screen share right quick. If you want, just so you guys know, because it's not just BT. Because every time I start talking about Japanese boxing, people like BT.
Yeah.
You just love everything from Japan.
Yeah.
No, people. This is the current Ring Magazine pound for pound rankings. Wow. Now I know it's not perfect. I mean, there's certain people on the Ring Magazine pound for pound list that I don't even think should be there. But you just go by this, right? Naoya Inoue is the number 2 pound for pound fighter on Ring,
right,
behind only Usyk. Junto's number 8. So this is a matchup between 2 fighters that are literally pound for pound. And on my personal pound for pound list, I got Inoue number 2 as well, and I have I think I have Junto number 9 on my list.
Right.
So it's a pound. These are guys are universally regarded as
top dogs,
pound for pound fighters. And let's talk about it, man, because I'll tell you like this. I think in the case of Inoue, in the case of the monster, I think he's very smart to fight Junto right now at
his prime.
Not just in his prime, but I think he's smart to fight Junto in at 122. Because the thing is, Junto is big enough to fill out and be a featherweight. Right. He could have went to featherweight and then maybe fought some of the champions there. Right. And then Junto could have eventually worked his way up. But I think that would work against Inoue because now Junto will be at a bigger weight class. He could retain more of his strength. And you know, some of those fights at featherweight, Inoue is going to take some damage. So I think objectively speaking, if they fight in 2026 or any time of his next 2 or 3 fights, it's the perfect time.
And I think at 122, I don't think that it's a good weight class, but I think featherweight is bigger, and there's a lot of kills in featherweight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will agree with what you're saying. If he doesn't take it now, when he goes to this, it's going to be a higher mountain for him to climb, so to speak, with the competition that's at featherweight.
And you would allow. I'm not even really speaking about the guys.
Okay.
I'm just speaking more to like their matchup.
Okay.
Junto, because one thing about Junto, he's won a lot. He's won a world title in 3 weight classes. Yeah. But I think he still lacks a lot of top level experience, right? In comparison to a Naoya. So if Inoue would have fought at featherweight, you would allow Junto to get more big fight experience.
Right.
And that's not what you want, because if you've been watching Junto Nakatani, he's been bashing these dudes up. And he's a versatile fighter.
Well, one point that you just brought out, that's very key. I'm gonna say more for Junto Nakatani than Inoue is his skill. His skill is good. Inoue is his great skill. Give him another year to how you say, so to speak, marinate the meat, marinate him a little bit more.
To develop.
His skills will be better for when that fight happens in another year. It'll be a better fight on Nakatani coming forward and fighting an excellent, skillful fighter like already seasoned Inoue.
Exactly. So look, I want to show you guys what I'm talking about because you know, I do like Junto, but he's 30-0 right now. His record stands at 30-0, 23 knockouts, a very good record on paper. Definitely a dangerous fighter. If you watch Junto Nakatani fight, he's not a traditional Japanese fighter. Like, he does have the fundamentals that Japanese fighters have.
Right.
But Junto, what makes him dangerous is that, you know, he's been training in America since he was a kid.
Wow.
He came to America when he was young as a kid to train Rudy Hernandez. And so he's seen a lot of different looks being in the LA gyms. You got a Mexican trainer. So every now and then
you got a mixture of everything.
So yeah, every now and then you see the mixture of the Japanese fundamentals and the Mexican pressure. He's got a lot of different things to his style. But right now, I mean, if you just look at his resume, right? And he's fought some good fighters, but again, I think he still lacks. He does lack some experience. Like, he's fighting often and he's getting the experience in terms of being active, but I think he needs more experience in terms of top opponents.
Yeah, he can't go wait another year and no disrespect to anybody and fight tomato cans. Expect him to fight Inoue because he's had 10 more fights with tomato cans. He's got to have something at least, I'm going to say B level at least, and work on that and spar more and do more and continue doing what you're doing, because if you're going to fight Inoue in another year, Inoue's only going to get better and better and better.
And this is why I'm so big on I would like Junto to fight one of the champions. I don't care. I would like it to be Seiya Tsutsui because I want to see that fight. But I would like Junto to fight one of the champions at bantamweight before he considers moving up, because if you just look at his last 4 fights, okay? Now this is a credit to him because he's beaten up, you know, some decent fighters.
Yeah.
But he hasn't gone past the 6th round in his last 4 fights. He's not going around because he's hitting these guys and they're all falling over. Now, maybe I'll be wrong. But when he fights Naoya Inoue, I don't think he's gonna hit him. He's just gonna fall over.
No.
So I think he needs a fight where he's gonna go rounds against someone that will push him.
And people might argue that point and say to you, Bill BT, why does he have to go more rounds with a level fighter in the ring when he's getting all of his sparring?
Because he's not sparring.
No, but I'm saying he'll get all the rounds in sparring, and the argument will be
he needs these rounds under the lights. He needs the rounds under the lights because Naoya Inoue is not gonna get hit and just fall over.
I know.
You're not gonna. Now look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if he knock out the monster in 6 rounds, then Junto is just cut from he's just different.
Yeah.
But I don't think even if he beats Inoue, he's not gonna get him out in 6 rounds. So I think when you look at the bantamweight, right? Because eventually he has to move up to 122. He's at 118 right now. I think he should fight one of the bantamweight champions. Personally, I would like to see the Seiya Tsutsumi fight. I think that's a fight where Tsutsumi, you seen him in his last fight against Daigo Higa. You can hit that guy with a shovel, and he don't go nowhere. No. I think he would give Junto rounds. I think Junto could probably win that fight. He probably give Junto a solid 8 to 10 rounds.
And let me ask you another question. I know he's been in championship fights, but has he been in the same? Well, I know Japan's the same atmosphere. Has he been in the same big fight like
the stage?
Yeah, a big stage.
No,
in Japan.
Nobody has.
Like
nobody has.
Right.
You go to Japan. No, in a way, I kid you not. When he was when the monster was getting ready to fight Sam Goodman, you just walk around. It only gotta be Tokyo. It could be Yokohama. It could be Tokyo. It could be anywhere. You walk past the bus stop. They got ads in on the bus stop. Wow. So he's a celebrity out there. Nobody in Japan has fought on the stage yet, because he's in his own class in terms of stardom. But the point I was trying to make is that he needs to fight one of the bantamweight champions because he needs the rounds. He needs the rounds.
But that's what I was trying to tell you. My argument with you with that is, if somebody says to you, why does he have to need a round when he can do all the rounds for sparring?
Sparring is not the same as a fight.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but for the subscribers.
So to answer this question, when you're in sparring, you're only first of all, you got headgear on. Right. That's number one. You got headgear on.
You're not feeling
so punches that would land in sparring because your head's a bigger target with headgear are not gonna land in the fight. That's number one. Number two, you need as a fighter, right? Fighters gain more confidence when they get rounds under the lights. You can't simulate being under the lights. Yeah. It's one thing to look good in the gym when there's 2 people there. Yeah. It's another thing to look good when there's no headgear. Yeah. And your friends and your family are out in the crowd, and you might get humiliated in front of them. It's different.
It's stage fright.
So I'm not trying to downplay or make any disparaging marks about Nakatani's resume. I just think when we look at his last 4 fights, going to his recent fights. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit. Forget his recent fights, right? Let's go back to early in his career, all right? Because he fought some really great fighters early in his career, like guys that went on to become champions. Okay. Like you look at Nakatani right here, and his what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In his 9th pro fight, he fought Masamichi Ibuki, who's now
still here,
2-division champion. Yeah. That was only a 4-rounder, right? He fought Seigo Yurikuri in his 13th fight or whatever it was. He stopped Seigo in 6 rounds. So we know he's got real power. It takes a lot to stand up to the power of a Junto Nakatani. But I just think for him, the best case scenario, if they can get it, if he could fight somebody at either bantamweight, which I think that guy would probably like Seiya Tsutsumi because he's really tough. Yeah. If he could fight a Seiya Tsutsumi to give him some rounds, and then or maybe he fights somebody at 122 to give him some rounds, that would be the best case scenario for him. Because I don't like the idea, sometimes many times fighters can fall in love with their power, right? Yeah. You think really when you get knockouts the way he's been getting knockouts, you really start to believe nobody can stand up to your power. You're invincible. And then you get that one guy that does stand up to your power, and you don't know what to do. You don't have the answer. So because look. The last time Nakatani went past the 6th round was September of 2023 against RG Cortez. He hasn't gone past the 6th round. That's why they say you got to work on everything. Add more to your skills, to your toolbox. Because if you just depend on that one shot, and then you meet somebody, like you always say. Let's say, for example, I'm not saying they're gonna fight C fighter, but they fight a fighter that's below their level, and he shows up to fight that nobody expected him to do, and you thought your knockout punch was gonna get him out, and it didn't. It doesn't work that way.
You can't just sit back and think that because you have the power, that's going to be the only way you're going to win all your fights.
Yeah.
It's not.
And Junto can box. I'm not saying Junto's Junto can box. He's been getting better at using his tall, lanky frame to keep guys on the outside, and he does a very good job of mixing the range of his punches. But Junto, again, I just think it would serve him really well. I'm not saying it don't gotta be 10, 12 rounds or 10 rounds, but I think it'd be good for him to fight in a fight going into the 8th or the 9th round.
I was speaking right now, speaking today. Do you see a lot of which two fighters do you see? You're probably gonna say none, but I'm gonna put it out. Which two fighters or what fighters sticks out the most? What holes does Inoue? I know it. Junto Nakatani got to work on right now. So when the time comes to fight Inoue, he won't get exposed by it.
To be honest, like Junto has improved so much. If you go back and you watch Junto's early fights, and I would advise anybody who's watching this live that if you've only seen Junto fight in his last 2 or 3 fights, you may think that that's the fighter he's always been, and that's not the case. If you go back and you watch him against Masamichi Ibuki or even Seigo Yuriokui, Junto used to be a very clumsy fighter.
Wow,
clumsy, like
he's still green by the ears.
Very green,
right?
But with time and experience, he's learned how to box from the outside, mid-range, even on the inside at times.
Wow.
For being a tall guy.
Yeah.
And he's really rounded out into a dangerous fighter all the way around the board. I actually think the only thing he needs, that's what I'm saying, the only thing he really needs is a fight with rounds. He just needs rounds. I think there's no such thing as a perfect fighter.
Right.
He definitely can get hit, but he's gotten so good at using that lead southpaw jab to keep guys on the outside that I think he just knows who he is now.
Right.
I see a guy who knows
he found himself.
He's found himself.
He's mature.
And I think his style messes very well with Inoue because Inoue, he keeps it right there in that center line.
Yeah.
He gets hit right down the pipe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Inoue's got probably more explosive, stronger legs.
Right.
So I think Inoue's gonna be boxing a lot that fight, and he'll be picking his spots.
Holy crap.
He's not gonna go in there. He's not gonna listen. Inoue's not gonna go in there and try to beat up on Junto. He's gonna be really calculated that fight. That's gonna be a real. You're gonna see Inoue thinking that fight like he's never thought before. Because he's gonna have to. Because if you don't, he's getting put out.
Yeah.
So I just think for me, the main thing I see is really and truthfully the rounds. But Pops, hold on, we're doing a lot of yapping, and we got some super chats that I want to get to. So shout out to everybody here.
Thank you.
There's a lot to talk about. There's so many aspects of this fight to cover. So
and everything else,
and everything else in boxing. We got Matt again with the super chat. He says, "Is a Nakatani win for Inoue a legacy to where he can be discussed as a bantamweight GOAT, or does he need 126 title to solidify that claim?" Look, I think,
that's a great question, though.
It's a great question, and thank you for the question. I think, I'm not really, as many of you guys know, I'm not really too thrilled about Ramon Cardenas or the emergent Akpadali fight. But if he can take care of business and get to the Junto fight, then I'm okay with it because that's a great fight and that's a pound fighter. You can't complain about that. If Inoue beats Nakatani, look, he's already going to the Hall of Fame. He's already... if he's not the greatest Japanese fighter of all time, he's definitely
gonna be up there.
He's at the worst, the third. He's no lower than the 3rd best Japanese fighter of all time. The only fighters you could say in the history of boxing are above the monster would be either Fighting Harada or Yoko Goishin. That's about it. Those are the only 2 fighters that are even in the conversation to be able to.
Are you saying those fighters the legacy was better, but they won more titles and they were more successful than Inoue, or are you just saying how you style and how you see it?
Just like accolades, accolades and things like that. If he beats Junto, to me, I think if he beats Junto right now, when you consider that Junto was in his prime, Junto's in his 20s, he's firing on all cylinders. Yeah. He's bigger than Inoue. To me, I would actually place that win above Stephen Fulton. I'd place it above Donaire, the first fight. It would be hands down. If he was to get that victory, the best one of his career. As much as I like to see him at featherweight, I can't complain about Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani. The other super chat is Matt says Inoue Nakatani matchup styles alone has the potential to start like Hagler versus Hearns 1. I don't think it's gonna be like that, man. I think maybe it will be. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that Naoya Inoue is a smart fighter. People like to always downplay his IQ. I've even heard of people that are smart that know boxing probably more than me, that have been around as long as I've been alive. Like One time I had Rick Glazer on here, and he was trying to say that Naoya Inoue doesn't have a high boxing IQ. I'm like, are you serious? How do you not? Come on.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going. Like, I don't think he's gonna go in there and try to be explosive right off the bat. I think you're gonna see Naoya Inoue box a lot more. You're gonna see him use his legs. You're gonna see him counter punch.
Is Matt comparing more or less Nakatani to Hearns? Because Hearns was tall, he fought on the inside, and he was very aggressive, and he knocked it the fuck out. I think Nakatani, to me, he's more of a how you say, take his time, set up everything, and then come in. He's not a killer like Hearns. Hearns was killing the guy inside of you.
Nakatani's a killer.
Yeah,
he's a killer.
You think he has more or less the same style?
No, they don't have the same style, but he's a killer.
Right.
Like, he knows how to box in range, and he knows how to knock you out mid range, outside,
Would you say
inside.
Would you say Matt is right saying that he can compare to Hearns?
In terms of the style match, I just don't think it'll play out like that because I don't think Naoya, and I think Naoya, in a way, the monster is going to be very patient.
Okay.
He's going to be patient. He's going to be using a lot of jabs. He's going to be darting in and out. He's going to try to get Nakatani to come to him because if the monster starts boxing, Junto's going to get on the front foot.
Okay.
And Naoya, in a way, will be trying to get Junto to commit a mistake, and then he'll counter punch down the middle.
Wow.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe in the middle rounds, it'll get a little hectic and you'll see some exchanges. But early on, I don't see it being that kind of a start. But we'll see. Matt says he's got Nakatani stopped in a way. His punching power is at the same caliber, and he fights tall too. Listen, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I think anybody who underestimates Junto Nakatani is a fool. That dude is a killer. That guy, and the crazy thing is, like, that's what I'm saying. Inoue is smart to get him now.
Is it a 50-50 fight?
It's not 50-50.
Right now, but when it comes to the time, will it be a 50-50 fight?
Yes. 1,000%.
You won't favor either one?
Nope.
Wow.
Because he's saying 2026. What that means is you won't let Junto Nakatani get 2 to 3 more fights?
Yeah.
Have you been seeing him?
Yeah.
Have you been seeing what he's been doing?
Yeah, knocking my fucking eyes. Yeah.
And like, Monster is great, but ever since he got dropped by Neri, like, obviously he's been whooping these guys that he's been fighting.
Yeah.
But I do see a little bit of I don't want to say hesitancy, but like he's a bit more weary now of getting hit.
Yeah.
Ever since that fight, he's been a little bit more weary of getting hit.
Right.
The only thing is the guys who've been fighting since that fight, they just don't have the attributes to really exploit what's happening with him. Junto does.
Okay, yeah.
So I think the focus for the monster has to be in the Cardenas fight, in the Merjan fight. These are performances where he's got to tighten up his defense and continue getting stronger. Because that's a killer right there. And the last super chat, because Matt's just making it rain.
Thank you.
He says the way Nakatani torques his arms with punches, he is like Luffy with gum. I don't know what Luffy is. I don't know what Luffy.
Yeah.
You gotta explain that one. But yeah, he's a very violent puncher. I'll say that. So yeah, that's my first talking point. Let me go to some of the non-super chat comments because I know there's a lot of people here that
thank you all
that are chiming in.
Let
me see. What we got? Watch Junto is scrawny. He's gonna be solid at 126, 130. That's what I'm saying. Wow. If the monster were to fight Junto at 26, that'd get 9. At that point, I'd make Junto the favorite. If they fought a featherweight,
I see because you get.
If they fought a featherweight, I'm telling you right now, if they fought a featherweight, Junto will stop in a way and it won't go past the 8th round. It will not go past the 8th round.
You say that because he feels more. He's gonna
fill out. He's gonna have more experience. Yeah. He's gonna be even deeper into his physical prime. And will be a little bit further from his prime.
That's what I was gonna say. The same thing.
So I think as much as I've talked about, I've been mad about some things with Naoya Inoue's career. If we're talking about the Junto fight, he's fighting at the right time. Wow. At like literally the right time. Yeah. Because you let that man go to featherweight, and you go to featherweight,
you gonna fill out.
Yeah, you be in trouble. You be in some big trouble.
Thank you for the comment.
Nakatani is not big. People think he will do good at 126. Are crazy. Inoue has a way better shot up there. I think they could both do good at 126. I think they could both win a world title at 126. But I think in the case of Inoue at 126, you have to be a little bit more careful with the matchmaking for him at 26. With Junto, I don't think you need to put with him at featherweight. Yeah, you don't gotta put no safety on him. Yeah. He's the frame is there. Right. The frame is there. That's how I feel. Nakatani measures distance very well, and his delivery along his extension on his punch. It kind of reminds me somewhat of Tommy Hearns. A lot of people are seeing that Tommy Hearns comparison.
That's good.
I can't really do that comparison because Tommy Hearns is an orthodox fighter. He's a southpaw.
Yeah.
But I understand the comment
Right.
in terms of mechanics, in terms of he gets that full extension like Tommy Hearns, but he's just doing it from the southpaw stance, and he's got a little bit of Mexican influence in his style, so they don't quite look the same. But
it reminds me of a lot. That's good. Good comment on that one. I like that one.
See, Jeremiah Joe says, "Nah, Tension is gonna be the next big fight with Inoue in Japan." You know what's funny, Jeremiah? I made a whole video saying that if Tension were to fight Naoya Inoue, that'd be way bigger than this fight.
Wow.
Because in Japan, Tension is
Huge.
Forget Junto. Yo, Tension might be bigger than Inoue. Like maybe not now because Naoya Inoue's fought the Tokyo Dome.
Right.
But star power, bro.
Yeah.
Inoue, the Monster fought Neri at the Tokyo Dome in 2024 and sold it out. Man, Tension fought some dude in the Tension fought some guy in a kickboxing match in 2022 and sold out the Tokyo Dome.
Wow.
He was sold out the Tokyo Dome years ago. So and he's fought Floyd in the exhibition. So I feel like
he's got the cross thing.
I don't necessarily want to see it. Like I think Junto versus the Monster is a better fight. But if we're talking about in terms of the event, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I made a video about it, so it's funny that that you say that. Next Gen says they might feed Tension to Junto just to make the fight with Inoue. You know what?
Wow.
It's funny you say that because if you look at the rankings, it makes sense. Tension is Junto's #1 contender.
Holy crap!
They could do that fight. Yeah. That would actually be the play. If you guys look at right here, the rankings, Tension is right there, #1. So if you're trying to make that fight as big as it possibly can be,
mandatory.
They have made it the mandatory. He's just the #1 contender for now. Okay. But if they wanted to make that fight as big as possible, that would be the fight you make.
Wow.
Because Tension, I man sells. People know who he is.
Right.
You know, I remember being in a taxi with one of the, I had to take a taxi one time when I was in Japan. I went from Tokyo, where I was staying, all the way to Narita Airport, which is in Chiba, which is, by the way, it's not close.
Right.
Like it's very, very far. It wasn't no cheap Uber I took or taxi that I took. It cost me a grip.
Right.
But I remember talking to him, and he spoke some English.
Mm-hmm.
His name was KJ. Shout out to my man KJ. Mm-hmm. He told me, I was like, "Hey, do you know the Monster?" And Inoue, and he didn't know him at first. So then I said, "Oh, you know the Japanese boxer that fought the Tokyo Dome." Then he knew I was talking about.
Okay.
I had to like tell him a couple. I had to describe him a little bit. But when I said Tension, he knew him right away.
There was no
hesitation.
There was
no hesitation. So listen.
But he was a big star in kickboxing.
Yeah, and he fought Floyd out there too.
Yes,
and he talks a lot. Right. Tension talks.
Yeah.
You know, Monster's a bit more of the reserve.
Yeah.
Quiet. Japanese, regular But Tension, he be talking up a storm. He get the microphone, he talks for like 10 minutes, you know. So it's just
That's
different.
A good fight too.
It's a very good fight. So good point, my man Jeremiah.
Thank you.
And next gen comment. Thank you guys for your comments and some of your insights. But listen, Pop, we got other talking points to get to, right? Because what I wanted to say about this too was I kind of wanted to I wanted to discuss what has to happen before we even get to this fight. Because they're like if Monster is saying you want to fight him next year in 2026, but presumably probably in the middle or latter part of next year. Right. So we're only in March of 2025. Right. We're not halfway through this calendar year. Yeah. So that's a whole while away. So that means there's some dominoes that gotta fall for this fight to happen and be as big as it can be. So I wanted to explore that from the Monster side of things and the Nakatani side of things. So I'll start with the Nakatani side of things because I feel like that's actually more interesting. Okay. You know, we talk about Monster so damn much. Right. We know he's gonna fight Merjan. We know he's gonna fight Cardenas. You know, we know all that. We know he might fight Nick Ball or whatever and come back down. Listen, we know what the play is. But let's talk about what has to happen from the Junto side of things. Because Junto Nakatani, you know, right now as it stands, he only has one belt in the bantamweight division, and this whole division, every champion is Japanese. All of them are. That's crazy. You got the IBF champion Ryosuke Nishida. You got my personal favorite Seiya Tsutsumi. Yeah. And then you got Yoshiki Takai holding the WBO, right? So crazy. Ideally, I think Junto should fight one of these guys. Now, the IBF champion Ryosuke Nishida, after Junto's last fight against the Mexican David Cuellar, he wound up Nishida wound up going into the ring and he said, "Let's do a unification fight." Oh wow! And that apparently seems to be that's what they said they were going to do, right? But then a report came out
Yeah.
And Nishida supposedly is going now. I haven't seen a fight poster. It's not on BoxRec, but a report did come out that he's going to fight this Mexican named Jose Salas on May 28th in Tokyo. So he's going to stay busy. So if this report is true and Nishida is not fighting Jose Salas, and that means that that means that Junto will have to go fight another champion. Now, when we look at the other champions, where was I? Where's the So when we look at the other champions, the WBO champion Yoshiki Takei, he was a kickboxer just like Tenshin,
right?
And a lot of the promoters and a lot of the handlers, they want to make Yoshiki Takei versus Tenshin because kickboxer who became a boxing world champion versus a kickboxer who's not a contender. It's a marketable fight in that regard. So if that fight happens, he's not available either. So that only leaves one guy, Pops.
Wow, yeah.
That only leaves one guy, which is
oh my God,
Mr. Punchburger himself, the WBA champion, pound for pound, one of the most exciting fighters in Japan, Seiya Tsutsumi. Now, I'm not even sure he's gonna if he files an exemption. He could probably fight Junto if Junto is gonna fight him. But like I was at Doggone Boxing Gym, and he was out there sparring Saul Sanchez, and I interviewed him when I was in Japan back in January.
Wow.
And he said, look, I wouldn't mind fighting Seiya Tsutsumi, but I need more experience. Right now, that's not a fight I'm ready for. I need more experience, right? And on top of that, the WBA a couple days ago, they just ordered Tsutsumi to fight his mandatory challenger and interim champion, Antonio Vargas, which, by the way, if that fight happens, that's a fight he can lose. Antonio Vargas is good.
Right.
He's a pretty good fighter. So I'm not sure what the hell Junto's going to do with
this. A lot of dominoes going to fall.
A lot of dominoes. But look, whether it's any of these guys or whether it's, Tenshin or whoever, he has to win that fight there, right? And then eventually, inevitably, he's going to have to move up to 122.
Holy crap.
Right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to move up to super bantamweight. He's not just going to go fight at 118 and go, at least, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll do it. The monster did with Stephen Fulham, but I can't foresee Junto just jumping straight up to super bantamweight.
Yeah.
So eventually he's going to move up and fight, up there, right, before he gets to Inoue. And I don't know who he'd fight. I mean, you got, if he were to fight another Japanese fighter, you got Toshiki Shimamachi, who's a solid fighter. I think that'd be a good fight for Junto. He probably beat him. You got Subaru Murata, but I don't think that fight winds up happening because Subaru Murata's a Tekken Promotions fighter.
Right.
Mr. Hana won't like matching his guys up like that. He don't think like an American promoter.
No.
So I don't know what the hell's gonna happen with Junto. Maybe you guys can tell me and put me on game what the hell's gonna happen with Junto before he gets to an Inoue fight, right?
And that guy Salas you brought up, is he any good or anything, or he just somebody?
I looked at his BoxRec a little bit. He
just stay active
fight pretty much. Kind of like what he had his last fight. He fought a Mexican his last fight.
Yeah.
Strong Mexican David Cuellar. But that guy never really had no experience outside of the Mexican level.
Exactly.
And Junto beat him down like 2 rounds, like it was nothing. So I'm really intrigued. I mean, the monster has his roadmap mapped out already. I'm intrigued to see what the hell Junto's gonna do.
Wow.
What fights will he take? Will he unify the division? Does he go straight into a monster fight at super bantamweight, or does he actually, take a fight before that? There's a lot of things to unpack there, right? And then, Pops, we know if the monster, right? We'll touch on that really shortly because I feel like I've talked about this enough. But they already got. What you got? Anything you want to say about this fight?
I don't.
Monster versus Merjan.
What Merjan fight? Mandatory? Is that why he's fighting him?
Yes, because Merjan is a WBA mandatory, and he's had to wait. He has had to wait.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you be true. If he wasn't a mandatory, then you have to fight him. I wouldn't fight that guy. That guy fucking didn't do shit when he was a champion. He held on to the ball.
Tell him how you really feel.
So I'm telling you right now, he didn't want to give nobody else the opportunity, but he's the first one to cry a wolf to Naoya and say, "Hey, I'm your mandatory. Come fight me." So I think, in terms of anything, that don't mean shit. And Naoya's gonna break his fucking back. I'll break him down. To be honest with you, it's a waste of a fight.
He can still punch though. He can punch.
You know who I like is countryman.
Who?
Ahmed from
Odebek?
Yeah, Odebek. It's early, way early. I'm not even putting him in the conversation. I'm just saying this guy right here.
He's a weight class.
Yeah, I say I lost a lot of respect for him. A lot of respect for him.
Why?
Because he didn't do shit with the belts to give anybody an opportunity to test himself.
Yeah, he didn't fight Stephen Fulham.
Yeah, vice versa. So for me, I can't see that and cheer for you or say anything good about you because to me, you were full of shit when you had the belt. You didn't prove yourself. Yeah, you won it one time. That was it. Get the fuck out of here. I hope Inoue puts you back where you belong, on the fucking bottom, on your ass.
That's how you feel?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay, that's how you feel. I felt like that for a while. I feel.
You digress.
I'm not really as mad about it as I used to be because he's been the mandatory. He's had to wait. You know, Sandra pulling out of fights left and right.
Right.
Then like monster fight Yi Jun Kim. Right. That was
so,
like.
So you're blaming the politics of boxing that held him from fighting the man.
Like I don't have to see the
like
fight.
How many years has been waiting for this fight?
I don't have to see the fight, but my mentality is like if Monster's gonna fight at 122 and stay there and not go to featherweight right away, then okay, you should fight mandatory. Even if I don't like it, because I can't sit here and say, well, I believe in mandatory being honored, but then I don't like a mandatory. I keep it consistent.
You don't want to fall into a contradiction.
I keep it consistent with the mandatory. So. You know, he's got that fight, and then he's got Ramon Cardenas, coming in May. Yeah. So he has to take care of business. You know, these guys are still grown men. These are still world level fighters that are trying to knock his damn head off. They don't listen. They don't give a damn about none of that Junto Japanese celebration. they got their own goals and aspirations. So Monster has to stay sharp. He got to continue progressing as a fighter because in this sport, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. Yeah, and you got to stay sharp, especially when you know everybody's coming for you. So that's what it is. But let me see. Shout out to everybody. We're already 40 minutes. We having fun. We're having fun today. We're having fun.
Hit that like if you haven't. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate you all.
We got man Matt. This live has been brought to you in part by Matt. Shout out to Matt. He says Junto has the frame to be a 5 to 6 division champion. So you're saying what? He won at what? I believe what? 108, was it 112, 115, 118? I can't remember which weight class exactly, but you're saying basically because he's already a 3 division champion, so you're saying what? 122 featherweight. So you're saying he'll win a world title at 130. 130. He's saying 135. You're saying Junto will win 135.
He's got the body to fill out. That's what he's saying.
I don't know. You know, I'm not gonna say 135. That's pretty high.
For him,
but I would say I could see him doing something at 130.
So 5 times.
I would say I could see him doing something at 130 because if you look at his countryman Masanori Rikishi, who's fighting for the vacant IBF title against Eduardo Sugar Nunez, Junto is bigger than Masanori Rikishi.
Holy crap!
So I can see it. What it's really going to come down and boil down to, Matt, is how does Junto transition his style as he moves up? Because no matter how great a fighter is, every fighter has to make an adjustment to their style as they move up in weight. Look at the great fighters of history. Look at Mayweather. You know, look at Sugar Ray Leonard. Look at even Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue, he made some changes. He already to his style. That he boxes a little differently now than he did when he was fighting at 112 and 108 and these kind of weight classes. So I'm looking forward to see how he adapts his style. You know, Matt says. Junto beats Bam. That would be a good fight before Inoue. Now look, I just made a whole video about this like a week ago.
And so we bring it up.
Everyone keeps saying now look, in a perfect world, I wish we would get Junto versus Bam. But really and truthfully, I don't think we're ever gonna see Junto versus Bam. And you may say, BT, why do you say that? The reason I say that is because Junto versus Bam, Junto and Bam are both promoted by the same person.
Right.
And that's Akihiro Honda, aka Mr. Honda, aka the head of Tekken Promotions. And he doesn't do or conduct business like promoters do here in the States. He doesn't really like matching his fighters against each other, right?
That's kind of hard to comprehend, though, to be honest.
He'd rather match them against other people because he views all of his fighters like a family. I know it sounds weird. Because in America, it's like, Al Hain and Bob Durham. You got a guy in house who's good. Yeah. Another guy in house, you make the fight, but it's not like that. With
all the respect in Japanese culture, I'm sure you can't voice your opinion to your promoter.
I'm just talking about Mr. Honda. I'm not saying Japanese culture. I'm not talking about
Honda. I'm saying as far as how he is within the boxing situation. Like I'm sure if one of the boxers say, "Hey, I want to fight this guy. Put me on here with him." Mr. Honda don't want it because the family, in my view, would also be disrespectful.
They kind of already know, like people kind of already know how Tekken does things. So like, look, listen, I mean, he is one of the most influential promoters on the world level. So clearly, he's done something right to maintain his status in the boxing game, not making any disparaging remarks about him. But I'm just telling you why I think the fight would happen. So if they did fight, I think it'd be a great fight. I think Bam needs a fight like that because Junto is in his prime like Bam. Bam would have to actually get past the long southpaw jab of Junto, and Bam would his ability to angle off and pivot would be really tested in that fight.
It won't be a way.
So would Junto's jab and his ability to fight tall. So I think you're right, man. That'd be a great fight in a perfect world, but I'm just telling you why I think it probably
won't happen.
Doesn't go ahead and happen. So yeah, there's that. Last speaking point about the monster and Junto Nakatani. Listen, Pops, I feel as though my tank voice. Yeah. I feel as though respect to him, but Canelo Alvarez can learn a thing or two from the monster. And people may be saying like, BT, what do you mean? What could Canelo learn from the monster? Well, look, man, Canelo hasn't wanted to fight Dave Benavidez for years. He hasn't, because he wants to always maintain his status as the face of Mexican boxing, even at the expense of depriving the boxer of a fight that they really want to see, right? And he says, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want, right? And listen, it's his prerogative. If he's happy with his decision, then God bless him. But the monster moves a lot differently, right?
Yeah.
He could do this. He could probably even more than Canelo do the same thing.
Yeah. Sure.
He's a rock star out there in Japan. And is he doing that? No. He's saying, look, man, look, okay. In fact, it ain't even Junto calling him. Inoue, Monster is calling him out. He told him, he said, look, let's make Japanese boxing even more exciting.
Yeah.
And let's fight each other at the Tokyo Dome next year.
Yeah.
He
put it to
so it's just different. Like, I feel like there's a lot, not just Canelo. I don't even want to limit it to Canelo, but Canelo came out of my mind because they're both in the same scenario. Canelo is the face of Mexican boxing. I know Benavidez isn't quote unquote a real Mexican, but he's Mexican American, right?
Basically,
and if he were to beat a Canelo, he would gain a lot of that fan base for himself. And Canelo don't even want to give him the chance. He'd rather fight William Skull. He'd rather fight. So I'm not saying this to put down Canelo. I'm actually saying this to kind of lift up the monster, because he's not doing that. He has every right to it. He's not doing that.
The difference between the difference between Canelo and the monster, in my opinion, is when it comes to legacy, the monster's fought the spot top of the top. You know what I mean? Maybe that fight where you say what Gonzalez should happen, never happened. But he's going for the killer and he goes to the top, so his legacy will stay and people respect it. Well, Canelo, for fighting Skull, fighting Berlanga.
I want to fight Crawford now.
And Crawford. It's not people are going to argue that the Crawford is not a good look, but it's not a good look for him, because when he gets older, this Benavidez is going to haunt him in his grave and his bed and everything. You guys might not think so, but it will, because in all boxing, that's all you're going to hear. Just don't mention Canelo here, because Canelo didn't do this. He did not finish the job that was for him to do. He did not fight Benavidez. That will always be a question. And if he's good with it, fine with it, but don't get mad when somebody comes and tells you something. You get offended because you had an opportunity to do it.
Okay. Well, look, that's all I really wanted to say about that. I don't want to drag that out. I just wanted to just say, like, it's really it's just cool to see, like, someone that's at that level and he's not like.
You walked up to him.
We see it. Look, we see it so much in American boxing. Like I mentioned it last night's live. Like Bakram ain't nowhere in the same solar system of stardom as a Canelo or Inoue, and he's already big time in Charles Conwell.
Yeah, we
see it so much in America where guys play the A side, B side, and then here you got a guy who's really a real A side, and he's not acting that way.
No, and so by watching what Inoue did yesterday, he just walked up to the guy and said, "I want you." He said, "I'm coming for you." That's the same way Canelo should act. I'm going to come for you. Everybody said they want to see that fight. They demand that fight. Well, let's get it on. Let's get this.
Yeah. Shout out to my man, Jan. He said, I don't know about the 126 comment, but other than that, really base take BT. Thank you, Jan. Shout out to Jan Backus. Shout out to Next Gen Comment. He says, now, I'm going to acknowledge a couple of the non-super chat comments because there's a lot of interesting comments that I do want to get to. Shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash the like button. Next Gen Combat says, I think Rafi Espinoza is the unspoken boogeyman at 126. I like Espinoza. I think he's very good. I don't want to say he's a boogeyman. It's funny because with time and maturity and definitely being exposed to a lot of things in the boxing world, I don't really believe in boogeyman.
No.
My mentality, and I'll tell you, Pops, and I'll tell the chat as well, my mentality when it comes to these guys that they say are boogeymen, because I think when I was younger, I used to think it was fun to talk about. Well, this guy, nobody wants to fight him, right?
Right.
And there are rare cases where that does happen, you know. But most of the time, when a guy starts getting labeled a boogeyman, because they can't sell.
Oh,
most of the time,
I never looked at
like 9 times out of 10, if you hear the promoter start taking the angle of, oh, this guy's a boogeyman, it normally means they're not selling no tickets.
Yeah, but
because they don't have no other angle.
No, but you can look at it both ways. You can look at it as the way you're saying that he could be a boogeyman because he doesn't sell in the terms of the promoter.
Espinosa can sell.
But in the terms of a fighter, when you say he's a boogeyman, he's saying that he wants the big fights. But all these guys, for example, Tio and who else, 140 with Matias, nobody wants to fight him. So you can look at it both ways. You understand? You can look at it at the point from a business point of view. He's a boogeyman because he's not popular enough to put asses on the seat. You know what I mean? Make money. But at the same time, he's a boogeyman with the other fighters because the other fighters are afraid to sign the contract. So I do agree with what he's saying.
You think Espinosa's a boogeyman? Because I know.
No, I'm not saying it's a boogeyman. What I'm saying is the term that we were talking about.
Okay.
But Espinosa, the only time I seen him beat somebody down to a pole and send him back, no, with all due respect.
Basically.
Him, the Cuban guy, he beat him to a pole. I don't know. I want to see more of him. Take, for example, this is another guy, different way or whatever. Ronaldo came back. Yeah, he got his ass kicked by Angelo. Not just by Angelo. But look what he did. But he just came back yesterday. He went in there and started beating the fuck out of somebody. So he's going to come back and climb up with his actions. And I think Ronaldo, I want to see that from Espinosa. He's got a lot of people who say got to test it, and I'm not taking that away from him. But I'm not going to say like he's that big boogeyman in that weight class. I don't think so.
I don't think he's a boogeyman because I know the comment about a lot of right now when I say this. Yeah. But I don't think he's a boogeyman because I've literally heard Angelo Leo mention his name. Only mention his name. Right. Like Angelo's mentioned Espinosa more than any other champion. Right. So because I've heard another champion mention his name so many times in interviews. Yeah. I can't look at him as boogeyman, and that's number one. Number two, I don't think there could be a boogeyman at featherweight because most of these guys haven't even been champion that long in the division. Yeah. Nobody's even been a champion long enough to be a boogeyman. Yeah. And third of all, I think that Rafael Espinosa, and this is a prediction. I'll give you guys an early prediction. I don't think Rafael Espinosa will ever fight in a unification fight at featherweight. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I think the big fight for him is gonna be. So when it happens, remember I told you this. He will not fight a big fight against any of the champions at 126. I think eventually he's going to outgrow the weight. Right. And the play from Top Rank is going to be to make Rafael Espinosa versus Bernardo Lopez at 130. Mexican versus Mexican. That will be the fight because if you guys remember, before Bernardo got knocked out, that's the fight they wanted to do. Yeah. All the talk was about Espinosa versus Bernardo. So they've always had that fight in their back pocket. Right. Bernardo Lopez has hella fights in his back pocket. Bernardo has Oscar Valdez at 130. Yep. He's got potentially Espinosa if he moves up to 130. Yep. And then he's got if Eduardo Sugar Nunez wins, he's got him. That's 3 Mexicans. That's gonna be one of the 3. He's gonna fight one of them 3 before he retires. That's what I'm saying. He coming back and winning. He made a statement yesterday. Whenever he fought the other day. I'm happy for him, but I'm not gonna say. To me, I gotta see more from Espinosa. The media says he's a great fighter. Everybody says he's a good fighter. He plays guitar, and that's everything. Great for him. But the only guy that I truly see him that he beat the crap out of his ass was Basie. That's still a pretty good person. I know that. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying. But I mean, you got a good point with that. If you believe that he's gonna be the next boogeyman, so be it. Shout out to my guy Orlando Floyd. He says the untouchable True School Sports, the one and only BT. Thank you, Orlando. We're just here talking boxing. Man, just plug it in for the computer. Yeah, I'm gonna plug it in. Where's the charger's over there? Bam's defensive hold will show against Inoue. Yeah, he did get his jaw broken by Christian Gonzalez. Let me see. We got my man. Who do I think beats Espinosa? Do you guys really want to open up like can of worms? Is this a route you guys are really prepared to go down? You didn't want to go that. I'm trying not to talk about it, but you asked me the question. They're gonna get you. The same. Take a guess. LOL. That's what you're hoping for. Nah. Listen, if I had it my way, listen. You think I'm scared of Rafael Espinosa outgrowing the weight, or you think? Listen, if I had it my way, if BT was the commissioner of boxing, Espinoza and Angelo Leo would be fighting right now.
But I'll be backtrack that. People were saying crap about Bernardo, like that he was this big guy that was gonna bully.
I don't believe in Boogeyman.
I'm saying that this guy dominated him, and what happened to him. So the fight needs to happen. All those questions that Brandon's bringing up is his opinion, but I'm saying like we all know we have to go see what Espinosa's gonna do.
Yeah.
Will he fight Angelo Leo?
Oh, and you know what's crazy? I mentioned all of Mexican fights for Bernardo. I forgot the one that's actually the most makeable fight out of all of them. Emmanuel Navarrete. So look, Bernardo can fight Espinosa if he moves up. He could fight Oscar Valdez.
Wow.
He could fight
You name
Sugar Nunez if he wins, and he can fight Vaquero, who's a top ranked fighter.
Wow.
So he's gonna get a big fight.
He get enough.
He's gonna get a master fight at some point. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and read the super chat. My man Matt, he says Eduardo Sugar Nunez's power is terrifying. He throws people with his power. He would kill Naoya Inoue. You think so? I mean, look, I like Sugar Nunez. Very, very hard puncher. Defensively, not the most sophisticated defensive fighter there is. That'd be a good one if they want to make that move one day. I mean, look, he should be a bigger name. I think people always talk about how Mexicans have privilege in boxing. He's with Eddie Hearn, unfortunately. I don't think Eddie Hearn knows what's due with him, so he has to be like. It's actually a shame to me that a guy who's as entertaining to watch as Sugar Nunez has to go to Japan. Eddie Hearn and everybody involved with his career should have paid the money so he could have got the fight wherever he wanted in Mexico. Yeah, the purse bid. Like, he had to go to Japan on the road to win his title. And I just feel like, no, that's a guy where if he becomes champion, he can be a star, like a real superstar in boxing.
If they just give him the...
He got bricks, like bricks. And a Mexican, I thought I was like him, would do great, you know? But I don't know if he beats Inoue. That'd be a great fight, though. Ramirez versus Espinosa won a legit classic. Yeah, I was there. I went to that fight. I was ringside. I was right there. And it's one of the best fights I've ever been to. I remember that fight. Espinosa Navarrete is a classic. Yeah, I think between Bernardo and Espinosa, there's so many fights that they could make in and around their weights where I think they would
in the fans
do well and
the public and everybody wins in that fight, in those fights.
Do I think Nunez wins that fight in Japan? I haven't really thought deeply about it. You know, Masanori Rikishi. I gotta do more film study if I'm being honest with you, but I would make him the favorite. I think Rikishi, he's lucky to even get this fight.
Wow.
Because he had a fight with an Italian guy last year, Michael Magnesi or something.
Okay.
He was down on the cards. He was about to lose to this Italian guy, and he pulled right out the head and 12 and knocked him out.
Yeah.
So he wasn't very good defensively in that fight. He better tighten his shit up, because if not, he's getting packed up. He's getting packed up in 7 rounds. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm 1,000% serious. I like him. I got nothing against Masanori Rikishi.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the race, but I'm just telling you, if he don't tighten this shit up, he's getting packed up by Sugar Nunez. He's got to be better. I'm saying that to say
that
he has to be better.
You go get packed up and go fucked up real quick.
So yeah, guys, I pretty much touched on everything I needed to touch on with Inoue. You know, we're an hour into the live, so shout out to all 35 of you here.
Thank you. Hit the like.
There's still other things I want to talk about. So we got Pops here. I wanted to ask Pops about some of the things we talked about on yesterday's live, because he wasn't here for yesterday's live.
Yeah.
So Pops,
I'm
gonna start with this.
Okay.
All right. And I want you to really give me your honest thoughts here. Yeah. So Bob Arum came out recently in an interview with Sean Tittel, and he stated that, you know, he's not going to really, he's going to allow his fighters to still work with Riyadh season in Turkey, but now his focus, he's been talking to Al Heyman. And
Al Heyman, thank you, Al
they're
Heyman.
looking to collaborate to make the big fights so that they can compete with Turkey and Saudi in the marketplace. Now, the reason this is happening, Pops, is because Bob Arum does not get along with Dana White. They have a long checkered history, right? So what do you think about the idea of Bob Arum and Al Heyman actually finally doing what they should have been doing 9-10 years ago?
I think it's great for boxing to have Bob Arum and 2 Americans, the top 2 Americans work together. I think by this short-changing Dana White in Turkey, as far as when American fighters fight, they're going to get short-changed right away. I think having Bob Arum and them coming together is causing the competition that we always wanted, with all the promoters work together to bring the big fights. And now, but Bob Arum, to me, what he's saying is, okay, we'll have no choice either. We can't let Turkey and then throw the carrot up there for a big fight, and then give them and take our fighters and sign them that we don't have anything. So I'm more for it. I think it's great, and I think one thing about if you come to America, you're gonna make the capitalism, you're gonna make the money, and you won't have to be shortchanged by another American named Dana White.
So in layman's terms, say it with us, guys. At least to get in the fights.
Yeah.
At least to get in the fights.
Yeah, and if you don't, I mean, in the long thing of what's called the long list of things, young fighters are going to jump with Turkey because Turkey will throw any money that they never had. And okay, so be it. But just remember, you're not going to get, once you get to whatever you want to get at, you're not going to get paid what you think you're going to get paid.
Okay.
I'm going with America. America #1 capitalism.
I got you, Pops.
Yeah.
You know, my man TSM brings a great question here.
Yeah.
So now with this news, you know, Tank's a PBC fighter, and a lot of fights like Lomachenko back in the day, one of the reasons it didn't happen is because Lomachenko was top ranked. Right. So Bob Aaron and Ahian are collaborating. Do you think we get fights like maybe Tank versus Lomachenko, Tank versus Keyshawn?
You'll get a lot of fights because what's happening now is now the American promoters as well as the European Eddie Hearns and Fish Eyes and so forth, they're worrying now because now Turkey can still take a lot of their fighters away from them and throw the carrot to them and say sign with us, and then they will hold us hostage forever long, and then the public's gonna suffer because the fights are not gonna be made. So I think it's a great idea that finally the American Bob Arum and Al Heyman are colliding with each other and put the differences aside and realize, hey, if we don't do this, we're gonna be fucked. Seriously.
There you go. There you go. And you know what, Pops? That actually pivots and segues into the next talking point. You know, with this news, you know, like Bruce Carrington's name is buzzing right now. Right? He was running his mouth a lot after his knockout, calling out. He called out almost everyone. He didn't call out every champion. There was one champion he conveniently didn't call out, and it was the only champion that happened to be sitting in the crowd, and that was Angelo Leo. But Bruce Carrington is Stephen Fulton's #1 contender, right? He's been wanting that fight. I remember I interviewed Shushu at the Espinoza Robesi 1 press conference, and he was talking about fighting Fulton back then in December of 2023. But now we're getting this news. I don't know if you heard. And I haven't even asked your thoughts. I don't know how you feel about it. But now there's rumors that Stephen Fulton might be moving up to 130 to fight Oshaki Foster for the WBC title.
I kind of like that fight, to be honest. I like that fight. I like if Fulton can't make the weight that he can make, then let so be it. Go up, take an opportunity with another real good fighter in Oshaki, and it'll be a good fight for all the fans. But it all comes back to Fulton if he can make the weight and unify all the belts down there because he wants to move up.
Okay. I saw a comment earlier. Somebody said that they feel like Stephen Fulton is going to 130 because he's running away from all the smoke at featherweight. What do you think about that? I don't see him. I will say that I always say this, and it might be wrong how I sometimes use my terms. I always say that a lot of Philadelphia fighters that they hype him too much and they hype job. But I don't think Fulton's a hype job. I don't think not even close to a hype
job.
Right,
right. But I'm saying I don't think he's running away from fighting anybody. I think he will fight everybody. To be honest, I do not see him. Well, he hasn't. I don't feel it, and I don't see it. I'm not saying, but I don't think he. I think he'll fight anybody. And if he runs up to 130, guess what? Motherfuckers down gonna move up too, so they're gonna see me either way. They're gonna have to knock on the door.
Listen, I'm not gonna accuse him like look. I would love to see Stephen Fulton fight at featherweight because you guys know I would like to see him fight Angelo Leo in the unification rematch. I've been yelling from the mountaintops about that fight.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say he's ducking anybody because he's fought. I mean, when he was a prospect, he was taking tough fights. He's always fought top competition. That's one thing he's always done is fight top competition. So I would rather him go to one if he feels if he's even having a small problem making featherweight. I'd rather him just go to 130 where he feels comfortable, so that if he does lose a fight at featherweight, I don't have to hear about weight. I don't like hearing fighters say weight train. And the thing is, we the public, I can't tell Stephen Fulton, hey, you're not weight trained. Only he knows that.
And one thing that Bennett was bringing up to me, he told me that you never seen how hard it is to lose that weight.
It's hard. I mean, when people say, it's only a pound. No, you guys don't understand. If a fighter's having a hard time making weight, that last half a pound, that last pound, is hell on earth.
And you even heard on that farmer the other night was bringing that point out. He said, "Man, I can't keep moving my weight up and down, fighting this, but I gotta get weight training. It's very scary to do that." So, but I don't think one person that and the only reason I give Fulton that respect is because all the killers that he fought before he fought Angelo. You know what I mean?
Angelo being one of the main ones he fought.
Yeah, but I'm saying all the people say, Fulton's resume was not that good. But he fought champions.
He would have fought Merjan if Merjan would have fought him.
Right.
Merjan didn't want to fight him.
People always say, no, but he didn't really fight bullshit. He did what he had to do 12 times in a row, whatever it was, and did what he had to do. So I'll give him respect for that.
Who do you think? How do you think Carrington Fulton plays out? Who would you pick in that fight? Who would you pick in Fulton versus Foster?
I got to see more from Carrington. Even from yesterday, I got to see more.
What do you think?
I don't think.
What are you not seeing that you need to see?
I want to see him go in there and yeah, he knocked this guy out, but all he's talking. Focus in the ring, go in there and show me what you can do. Yesterday was great, but I just don't think he's ready for a Fulton.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think he can rise to the occasion?
No, I don't see that from him. I like Brooklyn too.
You don't think he has the punching power to hurt Stephen Fulton?
No.
Okay.
I like the slickness from Fulton. I like his movement. I see Kevin. Yeah, he goes for the kill when he has to, and he moves in and this and that. But the way Fulton moves for me, what I like about him, the way I just believe my heart. Zombie Fulton.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with that. As far as Fulton shook off.
Shocky Foster?
Good fight. Damn.
Why? So why is that a good fight? But what makes it better than the Shushu fight?
I'll tell you why I like about that fight. With both fighters, they're gonna be there. They're gonna throw punches, of course. They're both not really power punches, but it's gonna be a battle in the middle of the ring. And I like when they fight in the middle of the ring and they punch. I say these box. They don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like it. It's more exciting for me to see that. I mean, I think Foster learned from the last time when he lost that fight. That was a bad call. And I think Fulton wants to prove that I'm with the division. I'm going to show how good I really am. So I love that fight too. I do. I will take. Oh shit! Who would I take?
That fight. I'll tell you. I'll take.
I like Foster.
I think Steve Fulton will beat Foster.
Yeah, he probably will.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he'll beat him comfortably. I like Yoshaki Foster, but I just think Steve Fulton got more
experience and everything.
Versatility.
Yeah.
I think he got more versatility.
Yeah.
I think Foster, when he fought, was it Rocky Hernandez?
Yeah.
Everyone forgets because he got knocked out in the 12th round, but Rocky Hernandez outworked him.
Okay.
And I've seen, like, in the Robinson Conceição fight where he got quote-unquote robbed, he got outboxed in spots that fight. Mm-hmm. Fulton has seen so many styles and Shock Foster, unless he's, like, fighting a Mexican pressure fighter, he just always fights in there, like, this 1 year.
Right.
So
so you say
I think it'd be a good fight.
Because he fight in that 1 year, so we become more predictable.
I think Fulton would outbox him.
I like
Fulton. And become a two-division champion.
I'll be happy that way too. Either way, but I think Fulton. People shouldn't put no. In my opinion, don't put no blemish on him because I don't think people. I appreciate what he did when he fought Angelo Leo before that.
Brandon Figueroa.
Yeah, and I could see that again. I could see the Angelo Leo fight again, and I just like the way I like when he brings it to the ring.
Okay,
we have to see.
Okay, well, there's that. We got a couple of super chats. Shout out to everybody here rocking with us.
For super chat.
My man. Let's see. I think I already read that one. Fulton versus. Yeah, I think I read that one. I think so. I'm with you. I think I pick him to win that fight if they did fight. I appreciate the super chat, but see, I don't want to I don't like getting into the race thing. I try to stay away from like the race and boxing.
Trey, thank you for your comment.
I'll let the chat answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question because the minute I answer that question, they're going to say, True School's hating.
Prejudice.
And I don't I love everybody, and that's a messed up comment. Yeah. So I appreciate the super chat, but I'm not gonna entertain foolishness.
Thank you.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I never asked you about this, Pops. Now I don't know how much of these guys you watched. I know you've heard me talk about them a lot.
Yeah.
But you got and I'll ask the chat this too.
Yeah.
So you guys feel free to chime in as well. You got any thoughts on Brian Norman Jr. versus Jin Sasaki? Because it sounds like that's a fight that could be happening.
Man, that fight. I mean, they both was respectful. It was crazy, but last night we're sitting here. My son was. I said, my son, look, Jin Sasaki stay with promoter. I said, he ain't gonna get up from that seat and walk up to Norman.
He had a whole letter.
Because they have the Japanese. I said, he's not gonna walk up to that man. They don't do it like that. That's very disrespectful. But I said, watch this. This is a different cloth. He's cutting on a different cloth. He's gonna walk up to Norman. And he's gonna ask him. I think that'd be a good fight. I would favor Norman. The power that Norman got, I think, is outrageously big. And I think that if he catches Saki in the middle of the rounds or anywhere, I think he would hurt him.
But Yeah, look, like I think it's one of the most entertaining fights in boxing. I've been thinking about this fight for a long time since September. I really want to see this fight. You know,
but do you want to see just because you want to see the fighter, or do you think that Saki has a chance to beat Norman? Do you see something that I think one thing you always say about Saki is defense.
He's really explosive. I mean, he's got leaky defense, so that's why I favor Brian Norman Jr. I just think their styles, like, you know, sometimes when you see two fight their styles, and then it was a match. I think it's everyone thinks that I'm saying I want to see that fight because I think Jin Sasaki will beat Brian Norman because like BT he go to Japan. Nah, they're like BT he go to this Japan shit again. You just say I'm like nah. I don't got anything against Brian Norman. No, I'm actually really going to like Brian Norman.
Yeah, I just think a lot of it is it's two dancers and the dance and the fight to be a good fight.
Right now, Brian Norman, I would say I'll make Brian Norman a 60-40 favorite because of the defense of Jin Sasaki, but not just because of that. Brian Norman Jr. he's a physically more mature fighter than Jin. Oh, wow. I think Jin, if I were to put my manager's hat on, I think Jin would probably need another year for him to have the best chance to win that fight. I don't think right now that fight would be the best for him. Right now, but as a fan of the sport, who wants to be entertained, I think that fight would be one of the most entertaining fights that you could make in the welterweight division. So that's why I talk about it.
I was surprised that he came. I was surprised he walked up to him like that.
Yeah.
But they did like they both like the cartoon Happy Opa.
Hajime no Ippo?
Yeah, he was surprised when he talking about that.
The best piece of the best. Yeah. My man TSM, he said he got listen, the Jin Sasaki brigade is in the chat. He says Jin by KO. Lou Spooky said he's winning for Jim that fight.
Are you guys saying because of his movement, or what attributes you your favorite Saki?
Listen, one thing about him is he's got some balls on him, because if you've ever watched the fight when he fought
I'm not saying, I'm just
when
saying
he fought Keito Ibarra, he got dropped in that fight, and I think it was the first and second round, and he got off the deck and stopped the guy in the third round.
Holy shit!
So he ain't lacking no heart. He ain't no bitch. Like, he gonna go in there and he gonna go in there and fight. But I think, look, like I said in my video, because I remember when I was talking to his promoter, who's a good friend of mine, my boy Issei. He was like, what did he say? He was like, yeah, you know, he has a lot of heart. He's got the samurai spirit, and like, look, that's all well and dandy, but you can't be fighting every fight with the samurai spirit. Yeah. Because eventually you're gonna fight someone. No, I'm serious. You're gonna fight someone. Yeah. And the spirit might not be there tonight. Like, you can't be doing that against. You can't be going in there with your defense that league against Brian. Brian Norman is very freaking strong. You remember when he fought Giovanni Santillan? Yeah, oh my. He and Giovanni Santillan with the uppercut, and Santillan was having convulsions all the way down the ring. He is an absolute murderous puncher, and I think his boxing skills are only gonna get better with time. So my thing is, like, look, I like the fight. If it happens, I'll be gassed about it. I love that fight, but Jin has to improve his defense if he wants to.
And the good thing about it is that Norman wasn't being he was respectful, and he said, "I'll take that fight. If anything else come up, I don't want to fight the champion, but I will take that fight too."
Yeah, so we'll see.
I like that.
How good do you think Jin will be if he? Oh my God, I'll tell you this: if Jin could fix his defense, because look, he's got all the other things. He's an above average athlete.
Moving.
He's one of the most explosive fighters in the division. Above average athlete. One of the most explosive punches in the division.
He's ranked too, right?
And yeah, he's the number 2 contender for the WBO title for Brian Norman Jr. So he's up there. Yeah. I think he beats if he improves his defense at all, like in the next year or so, he will become a champion. He will be a champion. He's got everything up. The only thing that's stopping Jin Sasaki from being a champion is his defense.
But he leaves his hands down too much down, leaves himself open.
He starts throwing punches, and he just keeps his head on the center line.
Okay.
And I think he needs to work on his balance a little bit, because sometimes when he moves forward, his feet get a little heavy. Yep, sometimes.
But to say, we were talking about.
But he's got a lot of physical gifts that you can't teach.
Yeah, I'm talking about knowing that he's the way the Japanese train. Most of the Japanese stand right there with the head in the center line, and no one stands there. So that's something that they do over there. But if, like you say, if you don't watch out for it, you know, it could be a good night for him.
My man, Matt says, I'm big on Norman versus Boots because Norman can fraud check Boots. I have Stanionis beating Boots anyways. Listen.
Me too.
I don't think so.
See, I'm telling you.
Stanionis is cool, but
the hype
Boots going to turn him over.
I'm tired of Philadelphia telling me about Boots. I'm tired of always going to do this.
He might lose to someone.
Do that. Stanionis is going to be the one.
Listen, he might
make a big statement.
He might lose to someone, but that's someone. Listen, Stanionis is good. Boots gonna turn him over.
I don't think so.
He's gonna get turned over in that fight.
Nope.
He's getting turned over.
Maybe a few years ago when Spence and everybody was still at the welterweight, but now, what's Boots done? What's he done? Fuck Carrie, right?
Karen.
And Karen exposed him up with how he couldn't cut out the ring. What a fight did he just have recently?
That's it. Okay. He's been fighting Karen. So, he fought David Avanesyan.
So, again, no disrespect to David Avanesyan. Again,
not on that level.
No. So, to me, Boots is not. He hasn't shown me that he's that man or he's that it factor in Philadelphia. And until I see that, I'm gonna keep saying it. No disrespect to Boise. I like them on Philadelphia, but I'm gonna call it the way I see it. I'm riding with the honest.
My man Ace Money brings up a great point, Pops. I think you and a lot of people are not factoring in, right?
What?
So you've seen Boots in person. We went to
yeah.
You know he's a big guy for that weight class.
Yeah.
So he has the IBF title.
Okay.
And when you have the IBF title, they have the 10-pound rehydration rule where you can't rehydrate over 10 pounds the next day. But this is a unification fight.
Right.
So for the first time in quite a while,
he can rehydrate.
Boots is gonna be able to rehydrate. He's gonna retain a lot more strength and power this fight.
I don't care what he does.
Listen,
he has not.
A lot of people
shown me he has not been that.
He's gonna turn.
He's talking about all this shit. First he chased, and then we can go forever. Crawford lost money because he made bad decisions. I don't want to hear all this shit. I'm tired of hearing about what he is. At least Crawford, Crawford, you guys think he's a diva or whatever, how you feel about him now. But Crawford has accomplished a lot more. What the fuck is Booth got? He got a fucking belt that was handed to him or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, this is his fight to legitimize him being the champion.
So Sionis hasn't fought nobody either. But you know what? I just like that style Sionis gonna bring on him. And Booth, so be careful. I'm telling you, Sionis gonna surprise him. I don't care if he rehydrates, dry hits, comes whatever. I'm not with Sionis.
Damn, that's how you feel?
Yeah, I lost a lot of respect for Booth because he's turned down a lot of. Because of the way he's come out to fight. He's talking about I was carrying. He didn't do shit
twice.
Then he fought this other. He beat him up. Then he fought this other. This guy right here, what is his name? Vanishing, and he was so. No, you need to move up to 154. People say, no, you stupid, Pops, you stupid. He said he's doing it because he wants to unify all the belts at 147. Well, go ahead. You get all those belts from gumball fighters at 147 now. You don't have all that talent at 147 anymore. Test yourself at 154 and go up there when you had a fucking chance and you didn't want to do it. So I don't want to get that.
Now, chat. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I can't remember which fight it was. That I'm pretty sure every champion in this weight class has had the belt emailed to them.
Didn't he have? But didn't he have the Virgil Ortiz fight offered to him?
Yes.
And what did he fucking do?
He didn't fight him.
I want shit about fucking.
Okay. Well, listen. Look, every fighter at the welterweight division right now, Boots got elevated to champion, right? Brian Norman got elevated to champion. Yeah. He didn't really get it right either. Right. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong because I could be wrong about this. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Barrios got elevated too. So really, none of these guys are welterweight.
Okay, fine, but what I'm getting at, the quality of fighters that were there a few years ago are not there anymore. And Boots had a chance when he was there, even though he didn't get to fight Crawford, he got other fighters that are good at fight. He didn't do that.
I'm not trying to respond, but so, he got standing honest April 12th.
Listen, I'm riding with standing honest. I'm riding with that horse. Until prove, and I said it in his comments. I said it at the YSM thing. God bless YSM Sports. I said until he proves me wrong in the ring, I'm gonna keep talking the way I talk.
Okay, there you got it, Pops.
It's because I like him, not because I like him, not because I don't.
Yeah. Okay. A man right here, he says, fixing defense is not easy. How many fighters can you name that fixed? Name 5 fighters that fixed the defense. Okay. Well, I'll start with one person that I know. Angelo Leo fixed the defense. His guard is a lot tighter. He gets hit a lot less. He fights out of an active high guard. He can walk down on the Philly shell. He's actually an underrated defensive fighter. Even though people don't think about him like that. Him. Lennox Lewis. You go back and you watch Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis when he was fighting Frank Bruno when they fought the first time.
Yeah.
Go watch Lennox Lewis early in his career. Very raw, very hittable.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he got with Emmanuel Stewart that he fixed his defense and learned how to fight tall off that jab. Staying within the Emmanuel Stewart stable. Vladimir Klitschko, another guy. Yeah. Used to all these combinations, got clipped, got knocked out a couple times. And then guess what? Emmanuel Stewart taught how to fight off of that jab. He's another guy. Who else picks a defense? I think even to a degree, like the Monsters picks his defense. Like he used to get I mean, he still gets hit because he's an aggressive fighter, but you know he doesn't get hit cleanly with a lot of shots like he did maybe like early in his career.
I think what he's saying about what
I'm naming. No, he asked me to name fighters that fixed the defense. I'm naming a couple that come to mind. Floyd Mayweather. No, I'm serious. Like Floyd wasn't a bad defensive fighter when he was at 130. When he was younger, he was throwing punches and stuff. But like he wasn't a defense first fighter. He was an offense first fighter when he was younger, and then he went from being an offense first fighter to being like the best defensive fighter of all time.
He's not fully shuffled now.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say. I want to think. I want to really camp out on this. Like, I'm trying to think of a fighter who has terrible defense that fixed it.
Man, that's what I mean. I can't
like terrible defense.
You have to go look back and see. I mean, I can't not a fan right now.
Manny Pacquiao wasn't he wasn't a great defensive fighter, but I think as he got older, his footwork improved.
Right.
Because like when it comes to defense, right, there's multiple ways to implement defense. Your feet are your first line of defense, so you can use your feet to either dart in and dart out of range, pivot around your opponent, feint. There's those like 3 ways you can defend with your feet. You can defend also by moving your head. You move your head by moving your waist. So you can move to the left, move to the right. All right, that's another way. Or you can parry. You can use your hands. You don't gotta move your head.
Yeah.
You can parry punches by just letting the punch come all the way to you, and you catch the punch. Right. So there's fighters that were not good at any of these things. Plenty of fighters throughout the history of boxing that were not good at any of these things.
Yeah.
All they had to do to fix the defense was improve on one of those things.
Yeah.
And they become a better defensive fighter. But like, those are just a couple guys that come to mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. It's not easy to do because if a guy has naturally offensive minded,
that's what I'm saying.
It's hard to get him out of that.
That's what he's saying. He's saying if fighters have been fighting a certain way, you're not going to change his defense overnight to be better at what he does when he's so used to fighting a certain way. You can teach it to him, but it has to be repetition mode, consistently until he gets it. That's what he probably thinks he's trying to say too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it like this: if a fighter goes into the gym and he's in training day by day, if he makes it a point to turn his weaknesses into strengths,
you know what gets to change anybody? That after he got out boxing, that he trained maybe this defense.
He wasn't a good trainer.
Oh no,
Pernell Whitaker was not a good trainer.
But
rest in peace to him. But he was like,
right.
I remember like years ago, I interviewed Calvin Brock on here, heavyweight, the contender, who fought Klitschko. And he was saying like, Calvin, like he was talking about Pernell the trainer.
Okay. And
Pernell just didn't have a good track record because a lot of the top fighters, they can't train guys because they think every fighter just picked into like they did.
Okay.
So they don't have the patience. But I hope that answered your question at least a little bit. Let me see. We got James St. Patrick says Boots has no personality. All he has is bling bling. Well, hey, look, that's your opinion.
I'm with you.
I think Boots does got. A lot of these fighters do have personalities, but you know what it is? I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of fighters are afraid to be themselves in front of that camera. They are because once they start being themselves, you might get people criticizing them, and then they just go back to being whatever they were before.
Well, I'll tell you like this. You can see that now, but when I was in the Philly gym, he had all the personalities.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, he's real, there. But I mean, like you said, we can't judge a fighter when we see him because I think what they put the other face on a bit different.
Matt Borgeson says, and shout out to you, which again, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
He said, Bozy is a very meh trainer to me. He's going to get Cruz slept. Listen, I respect your opinion. I don't think Bozy's a meh trainer.
Well, I'm going to say like this.
A lot of people were saying Bozy is a meh trainer, but when Fulton got dropped by Castro, and they said that Fulton should have fired Bozy. Now, I came on here right after the Castro fight. I said, you guys are tripping. Bozy is a fantastic trainer, and he will make Stephen Fulton be world champion. And guess what happened? He made him world champion.
Yeah, I'm going to say like this. What we just talking about? I'm not going to thought. That Bozy, I lost my train of thought.
Okay. A lot of you guys y'all want to see. That's an interesting fight. Y'all want to see Devin Haney versus Jin Suzuki. Lou says that Jin Suzuki would 100% sleep Devin Haney.
Put him to sleep. And they ain't gonna be suing him for Japanese money.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I would like it to happen. I like Jin, but I don't know if that would happen.
I don't think it will. Listen,
I don't know if that will happen.
I have a lot of questions about.
You don't like that.
He's talking about. He had a lot of questions about.
Devin will have to go be better BF for you to get respect.
You better do something. You gotta do something because what happened last fight, he better make sure he does something great in the next summer fight to raise everybody's memories. Because it'll be hard to face that.
That's how you feel?
Yeah. And then you're gonna go sue. He's like Rosado, so you could go too.
Yeah, honestly, I think if they fight right now,
you got the bag too.
I think they'll probably UD him.
Who?
Jim, he'll be like 117, 118, 110.
Who Jim wins?
No, Devin.
No, fuck Devin. Devin winning shit. Devin got no heart. Devin still had no heart.
Maybe not. Well, maybe now because we don't really know what Devin Haney is. After that beating Ryan just put on him, like he had a hard time.
Yeah, but some fighters don't get over that.
I know, so we don't really know what he is. And Ryan has a very explosive left hook. Do you know what Jinsaki's best punches?
What?
The left hook.
There you go.
So who knows?
Listen, I don't hate the Haneys. I just think there should be a lot. There's a lot of questions for the son. Take the damn bag from the overweight, and then you want to fight, and then you want to sue. Yeah. Rosado was right. I love that thing.
My man right here says, why does Junto and Inoue have to fight? Why end hype business-wise? No, the fight doesn't make any sense. Junto makes versus Bam makes more sense. Well, tell it to Mr. Honda.
Yeah, not to that.
We can't do it for you.
Yeah, but thank you.
Brian Norman would abuse Junto. Listen, he might.
I think Brian Norman would.
You think so? How many rounds do you think it goes? Does Jin last longer than Derek Cuevas? Does it go past the third round?
It goes definitely past the third round. He's a lot more talented. Cuevas, and all respect to him. He got his opportunity, but man, I was talking a lot of junk about him.
I told you to stop.
Before, but we walk out the door. You come back up from upstairs.
Fight was done.
Yeah, it was done.
So hey.
Yeah.
But if they did fight, how many rounds do you think it goes?
It goes more than 5. I think the movement from Jin.
So I said it goes 8.
Sasaki.
I said go 8.
I mean,
it'd be a very action.
Yeah, because normally likes to come forward and get you by the ropes, and he goes to that body hard too, right to that body, boom. And once he knows he got you hurt, it's good night. He's strong. The motherfucker's strong.
He's still young.
He's 24, right? 24. Jeez, that's crazy.
So imagine him at 25, 26.
Yeah.
Just like the thing for Brian is he's got to keep developing them boxing skills. Setting up his punches, things like that, and he got all the physical gifts.
Well, like I said, 147 is not.
What about Teofimo Lopez versus Brian Norman Jr.? Because that was a fight that Top Rank wanted to make.
I would love to see that, but you know what? We're dealing with Teo.
What that mean?
That means I don't know what.
He fought Josh Taylor.
I don't know what we're gonna get from Teo. Teo talks too much and makes issues, and everybody's after him and this and that. And shut the fuck up and fight. That's what I feel about him and his dad. Shut the fuck. I know you got to talk a lot of shit. I get it. It's boxing, but you constantly just fucking talking. And now you would tell him, like, oh, you didn't tell. I heard yesterday before I went to bed. What kind of shit is this in New York that there's no public? It's not up to the public. When did that shit change?
Well, it was revealed in Eddie Hearn.
What kind of shit is that?
Eddie Hearn. So what my dad's referring to is Eddie Hearn said in the interview that apparently the Times Square card, which you've been to Times Square. It's a public place.
I thought it was huge.
They're saying Times Square, the Times Square card with all these fighters on it is not going to be open to the public. So does that mean people who just want to go shopping in Times Square, they can't just walk by that? Are they going to shut it down to that degree?
Are they going to have like the whole New York police surrounding the ring and that's it? I don't understand that. You just preached out and you just had a press conference it's going to be open to the public, and then all of a sudden you get scared because of what's going on in the world, and now you don't want it to the public. But I got news for you. You're still out in the open.
You know what they say.
It's crazy.
You know what the good book says. That the devil is the author of all confusion.
Yeah.
So if we're confused, expect some bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, holy crap. When I heard that, I said, I know I'm half asleep. I know I didn't hear him say that. So yeah. But it's not definite, right?
I don't know. I don't even, to be honest.
Who do you all hear from?
I don't even think Eddie really knows. Because look, you gotta understand when you're putting on an event in
Times Square,
like Times Square, there's a lot of moving pieces.
Wow.
So he's just saying things, and he probably doesn't even know
what to expect.
He doesn't even know fully like how that's all gonna play out.
So it's not definite.
They're probably still talking to the city about certain things.
Yeah, the police protection.
So okay, that's what it is.
Because I wasn't thrilled over there anyways. Small ass place.
You mean like Times Square?
I thought it was huge every time I see it on TV. I thought it was enormous.
Like, to the people that are watching, what do y'all think about Times Square? Because I first went to Times Square in 2016 when I went to go cover Crawford versus Hank Lundy. Yeah. And I remember I was walking around Manhattan. Yeah. And I just see all these lights, and then I asked somebody. I said, "Hey, do you know what Times Square is?" They said, "You're in Times Square." I'm like, "This is it."
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
This is it.
You know where you're at? This small ass shit. but made it look big like King Kong.
It's cool though.
No, that's nice. I'm not complaining about it. It's just the way
TV.
Yeah, TV makes everything. Yeah, we believe what the TV says.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. We got my man. Well, TSM says that Jin can handle being abused. You're going to have the ref stop it, or Jin has to get put to sleep. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You'll sit there.
Yeah. If you watch his fights, like he's had a couple wars. He ain't gonna be one of these guys. He's not gonna ask the corner to wave it off. Oh. You gotta nail him to the canvas.
Holy shit! Yeah, so he got that warrior spirit.
So you gotta be conditioned to do that. You know. Matt Morgan with another super chat. He says Teofimo's resume is amazing. He's one of the very best right now. Look, it is. But look, I've criticized fighters like Danny Garcia and Aaron Lara for resting on their laurels of having one or two really good performances. He has a very strong resume. But his last significant win was against Josh Taylor. That was in 2023. And then his most significant win was almost 5 years ago against Lomachenko. And in between all those fights, he's just been very Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which Teofimo you're gonna get in fight. So, he has to build that consistency. He has to build that.
Who you favoring in that fight?
Barbosa and Teo?
I'm thinking Barbosa.
Initially, I was saying Barbosa because I was like, you know what, Teo ain't taking this shit serious. He's looking past them. He's doing rap songs. But see, Arnold is doing so much talking. And he's doing so much talking, and I actually think he's gonna get I think he's got Teofimo Lopez undivided attention. And you saw at the press conference, Arnold started doing that tough guy shit. And what did Teo do? Teo smacked the shit out of him at the press conference. Arnold didn't even see it. So I think Teo gonna beat the brakes out of Arnold when they fight.
I think the mind game is gonna go Barbosa. I think didn't he just troll him with something? He trolled him with the Instagram. That's
cool.
But I like to see Barbosa. I think he's a hungry fighter. Teo, I don't know what to get from him. He's changed so much.
And the thing with Barbosa too is like he's had 2 good performances in his last 2 fights, but it wasn't that long ago that he fought the Irish guy Sean Puffy McComb.
Yeah. And
he really got a gift.
Yeah.
So he's good at a lot of things. He's great at nothing.
Do you feel
if Teofimo,
let me ask you,
if the best Teofimo, anything closer shows up, he's getting put out.
Do you think because he's done all those accomplishments, he should be entitled to whatever? Because that's all I hear from him when he talks in the press conference. Oh, I got this, I got that. Why should I get this? Why shouldn't I get this? Why should I get the fuck out of here? Go in there and fight, bro. And you're from Davie, Florida.
Lou wants to know why doesn't nobody talk about Rohan Polanco? That's well, first of all, we just mentioned him last night.
We just talking about. Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I don't think I've ever given Rohan Polanco a singular video, so I gotta write it down tonight because tonight.
Did Broadway Joe do one?
Of course,
I'm sure he did.
Of course,
but
what I'm gonna say is I gotta before I go to sleep tonight, I have to write down like all the prospects and contenders I've never talked about.
Yeah.
So his name will be on that list. He will be getting a video really soon.
That guy should be.
He's very good. I like him.
But like I said about Top Rank, they don't promote a lot of their fighters.
They do. If they're Puerto Rican.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying because this guy is good. His talent goes in there. He beats the shit out of his opponents. You're right about that. So they should, but we don't know why.
Oh man, let me see. MEZBX, shout out to him. He always has interesting comments when he comes here. He says Teo's power hasn't transferred to 140 yet, and it hasn't. But I think Barbosa, good boxer. I think Barbosa will bank some rounds because of his boxing skills, but he don't really have the fastest feet. And again, like I said, Teofimo Lopez, he relies a lot. Like if you get him pissed off, he'll fight better. He will fight better. If you piss him off, he'll fight better.
Well, he was talking, and I always go back to this fight where he lost to Kambosos, right? He did more talking than he did in the gym, right? And even in this press conference.
To be fair with that fight, like
I know.
He lost the fight fair and square. Okay. He definitely lost that fight fair and square.
Right.
I don't want to sit here and say like he lost that fight. But what I can tell you about that fight, because I had the honor to watch. Because remember that fight was supposed to happen in early 2021 on Triller. Remember it was supposed to be at Marlins Park in Miami.
Right. The
fight didn't happen, so it got pushed back to like the end of 2021. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Teo spar that first time, it looked great. Mm-hmm. If they would have fought Marlins Park when they're supposed to, I think he would have did Kambosos in 6 rounds or less.
Wow.
He looked amazing. But I saw him again after. Mm-hmm. All I'll say is this. The intensity of his training was not the same as the first time. So look, who knows? Maybe he lost. It is what it is.
I would say now we were training with Eddie Reynoso, but he did say they didn't leave in bad terms. It's because Eddie Reynoso was training some Canelo for whatever fight. But once he finished that, he's gonna go back with them. So I would like to see, believe it or not, I like him and Garcia go at it. Even though Garcia's not a champion, that'd be a good fight, I think.
I'd like to see him fight Matias.
He don't want to. He should have done a long time ago. Because the money was short or something.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
We'll see. My man Hallelujah's World says Sandor beats Puel in the rematch.
I felt bad for him.
I thought Sandor beat him in the first fight.
I think
it was close. It could have went either way. I liked Sandor's work a lot better.
I think Sandor. I thought he won the fight. Believe it or not. I picked Puel, but Sandor did a lot of things. I think maybe towards the last championship rounds, he tired out a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Like Teofimo Lopez, to me, he's Tony Harrison on a higher level.
Yeah.
Like Tony Harrison, very skilled fighter. On any given night, you know, there were some fights where Tony Harrison looked like the best 54-pounder in the world. But you know, he for every Jamal Charlo 1 or even Jamal Charlo 2 fight, you had the Willie Nelson fight. You had the Tim Tszyu fight. You had the Brian Perella fight. Just fights where he has letdown. So.
I mean, I granted, I know the time when he was no excuse for him, and he had a tough time with his wife's thing, but now he doesn't have the wife. So I think his mind's in a better place, obviously, but just.
Are you saying women are a distraction?
At times, yeah. Big fights like that. But I'm saying, but with him, he needs to, I don't know. I really don't know which Teal's going to show up. That's why my whole issue.
I don't think he knows what that. I don't think he knows what Teal's going to show up. Shout out to Matt again with the super chat. He says, I think T.O. beats Ryan. I really want to see that.
That'd be a good fight either way. I would just like to see it. It'd be a good fight.
It'd be nice to see Ryan Garcia fight for a world title. I like Ryan. I spoke very highly of Ryan. I think Ryan might be the most naturally talented guy out of all these guys. But Ryan Garcia, he was doing an interview with Akin Brock talking about I want to be a promoter so I can show the fighters the young way. Motherfucker, you ain't fight for a world title. What you gonna tell him about what? You have not won a world title.
We about someone talking about a lot about two aspects of boxing. There's the managerial way with the boxer goes in the ring and fights and everything, but there's also the business side. This is where I think Garcia as Trump and people overlook him that he's never been a champion because of his popularity and people will resonate to that. And I'm
just saying, look, if you're saying you're going to help these young fighters, right, and be in the boxing business, part of being in the boxing business is you need to know how to operate as a champion. And he can't really speak to that because he never had a world title. No, think about it. Ryan Garcia, maybe for one of the regional belts, maybe he fought for. Maybe he had to pay a sanctioning fee for that. But I'm talking about them big sanctioning fees when you fight for a world title against because he didn't even have to pay a sanctioning fee when he fought Devin because remember he paid Devin and he missed weight.
Right.
So he's never really had to operate paying a sanctions fee. So how are you going to tell a fighter how to operate in the boxing business when you never even had to deal with it?
That is so true. Because I remember what was that black guy from Britain when he went after Eddie Hearns? I forgot if it was
Hard Davies.
No, it's not Hard Davies. It was the guy just fought recently. He comes with a handkerchief on. He bought all the black dude.
Derek Chisora.
Yeah, Derek Chisora. He said, "Hey, Eddie Hearns, come here." He said, "Hey, motherfucker, come here. You know how much all this fucking sanctions fee cost me?" So his whole point was what you said. Once you become champion and you start to see how much money you got to drain out of your wallet just so you have those belts, are they really worth those belts? Though?
I mean, you fight for undisputed. That's gonna run you in the high six figures to be undisputed.
Jesus, I didn't know
they don't tell you that part.
No,
they just say, fight for the belts.
Yeah,
they don't tell you. They don't tell you. Especially if you fight in the high weight class, they don't tell you the WBC's gonna charge you like $150,000 for a sanctioning fee. Now what's 150 times 3?
200,000. More than that. 45.
Okay. And factor in taxes. Factor in paying your team. Shit, you might walk away with nothing.
So I guess
that's why you don't see. Why do you think you don't see undisputed in the lighter weight categories? These guys make a lot of money.
Yeah.
If they go undisputed, they go broke.
Oh yeah, you hear this guy's always got Colazo from Puerto Rico. Yeah. He's always lobbying. Pay us little guys. The other night he wanted to get pay us little guys. Yeah. Y'all gotta pay us. But yeah, it comes down to that. You become champion. But I would want to say if they put Ryan Garcia and T.O. or somebody in the big, Ryan Garcia's gonna pull out people in the seats. I think he'll pull up people's seats. They're gonna make their money for him. But as a champion, at some point they gotta put him against somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Man, Matt says, yeah, he said that already. I think I read that one already. He said Ryan is much better than people. Listen, Ryan's got a lot of natural talent, but again, natural talent is only a small part of the equation in boxing. There's so like he's got some intangible things you can't teach. Right. Like the quickness, he's like just those quick twitch muscles, the way he whips that left hook and things like that. He's very, very talented. Yeah. But we know mentally he's had his struggles outside the ring. Of course, he came up. He's never really found synergy with one coach. He's had Eddie Reynoso, then he had Derek James, then he just went back. Then he had Joe Goosen. I think he went back. Now he's back with Derek James. Yeah. I think so. He's been all over the place.
So you have to be stable. One coach, I think.
How do I see the tank rematch going with Ryan?
No, with Roach.
Roach. With Roach or Ryan? Let's specify. If it's Roach, it's a good question, man. I think a lot of people are going to look at Tank having pressure on him for the rematch, and he definitely will. But I think Roach is going to have some serious pressure that he's never had to deal with. Because now, like, look, when they fought the first time, nobody thought Roach was going to do shit. Yeah. No one thought. But now, because we see what we saw in the first fight, now Roach is going to have expectations. And some fighters can't handle expectations. Like, I'll tell you guys this. I've told Angelo Leo this myself because I know Angelo. Like Angelo, he does very well when people think he's not going to win a fight. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's easy to drop motivation when nothing's expected of you or you're the underdog. A lot of guys feed up negativity. But when you're the favorite, and he won't be the favorite. Like Tank will still be the favorite. But them odds is going to be a lot tighter. Yeah. And there's people that think he's going to win. So how will he perform when there's things expected of him? I think in the rematch, I haven't even thought about this, to be honest with you. I think depends on what Tank shows up. I think it depends on Tank.
No, I think Tank's going to come this time.
You think Roach going to beat him?
I think Tank's going to come in here because he said after the press conference, get another chance. I think he's gonna come to killer mode. It's gonna be worse. He's not gonna allow Roach to do what he did in the first fight. I don't think he can do that. The way Roach exposed him the first time, that's not happening in this fight. I think Tank is gonna come in there and really make a statement. And say, okay, motherfucker, you exposed me the first time. You're not doing it for me the second time.
What happened twice?
Yeah, but for me, and you're gonna be confused now. I still go with Roach.
You think Lamont Roach?
Yeah, because I like the style of Roach playing him. I think Tank a lot of problems adapted to his how he was coming, shooting his shots, moving around. But that being said, like I just told you, Tank's gonna come in for the kill. I just think the style that Roach brought into that fight, he's gonna have the pressure, but you know what? He handled cool and calm the whole time through the whole thing. Talking about it, interviewing, he got interviewed before the fights and during the fight, after the fight. So I think, just as you said, Tank gonna make his adjustments to come in there like a killer. Roach is definitely gonna be better prepared. I got Roach winning the fight.
I feel as though Tank will make the adjustments.
Yeah, he could. I'm saying either. I just think I don't think Tank will repeat himself the way he did this last fight. I think he'll bring a better version of himself. Okay, all right. But I'm riding with Roach. He going with Roach. Okay. TSM says, do you think Richard Torres has a chance to keep USA relevant in heavyweight boxing? Honestly, no. I think he's good. I think he's up there, he's active, this and that. But top rank is bringing him real carefully.
This weekend he's got a good fight. He's fighting Guido Vianello. That's a good fight. That's right. The Italian guy. That's a sink or swim
fight for him. Yeah, I don't think he's. Well, I wish that he is 5 makes it, but for me, in my opinion, I don't think he's the next great American heavyweight. But he's a decent fighter, okay. and I'm high on Olympian fighters. He was an Olympian.
He's the first American to win a silver medal at heavyweight since Riddick Bowe.
Jesus, it's been so long since we've had.
That's a 1,000% fact. But
I always thought Anderson was going to be the next.
I think he's got a chance. I think.
You still think so?
Yeah, I gave him a chance because. One, he's got top rank behind him. So they're not going to throw him in a fight that they don't feel he's ready for. They're going to match him perfect every time.
But are you talking about
Torres?
Okay. No, I'm talking about Anderson.
Oh, Anderson?
Yeah.
No.
You think he's done?
I thought he was done before he lost. How many times? Like I wanted him to do well. I would like to see. I would like to see an American. Shout out to the American flag. I would like to see an American heavyweight But
did you agree when they say he was the next Riddick Bowe?
No.
Yeah,
That's honestly when they started doing that shit. That's what made me start like that was one of the things.
That's losing the fights. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, y'all better because I take that very.
Timothy Bradley that said that.
I take it very personal.
Yeah,
not like.
Bo's your best friend. Yeah.
I know Bo and like Bo. I've done so much about boxing from Bo. Bo used to wrap my hands like there was a time Bo used to kind of like train me a little bit. So I'm like I know how good he was. No, man. No.
So no.
Hell no.
So now we'll go back to Torres. You said that.
Now Torres, I'm not like the highest on Torres, but I think Torres is his work rate is gonna get him through a lot of fights, and I think he's got good amateur experience.
Yeah, but I don't think he's actually.
I don't think he want to have a title.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't
think he'll get up there for a fight, or whatever, for a title. Maybe they put him in some kind of title, but I don't think that he's that it factor as an American heavyweight.
But I'd like to see somebody do something because it ain't we ain't got really much to.
I just want to say about Anderson. You made me laugh.
Yeah. Shout out to James St. Patrick. He says, guys at 126. This is Hyro. I can read the comment. This is a Hyro comment.
Is it him?
Yeah. Guys at 126 and I know this is Hyro because he says Salvador Sanchez. He always trying to hate on Salvador Sanchez.
He hates him?
Salvador, you've never unified. When was the last ring champion? Guys at 126 don't market. They either fight in small venues or undercard. I got no rebuttal.
Al Heyman.
I got no rebuttal.
Yeah.
Hyro, shout out to you, champ.
Yeah,
I got no rebuttal to that one.
Thank you, Hyro. I like Hyro. Make me laugh.
Because he always hate like Hyro always want to hate on Salvador Sanchez. He always want to hate on Marvin Hagler.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is he trolling you?
I low-key think that Terrence Crawford and Hyro have conversations because Terrence Crawford said Terrence Crawford said the same bullshit that Hyro says. Marvin Hagler only fought at one weight class.
Please.
Well, no. Crawford wasn't talking about Hagler. He was talking about Earl Spence. He's like, Spence can't get in the Hall of Fame. Which, by the way, I don't think Spence is a Hall of Famer, but like, Spence can't get in the Hall of Fame because he's only in one weight class. Yeah, well, Marvin Hagler was only in one weight class.
No, but I like the point you brought up last night. You said at least you got to give some credit to Spence because Spence made you in your resume. Crawford's resume. You said that's a big fight for you. If you didn't have him,
it's the reason why he's fighting Canelo. It's literally the reason why he's fighting Canelo.
Seriously?
He don't win that fight. He ain't talking about fighting Canelo.
Yeah, that's true.
Because before Crawford even lost or beat Spence, they were talking about doing Spence versus Canelo.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't want to hear that shit.
MEZBX says, does Top Rank make a Torres versus Anderson fight this fall or winter? That's a good question. No, I don't think so. I think
Anderson will knock him out though.
Anderson will knock who out?
Torres.
In what?
In the ring.
In boxing?
Yeah.
No, he ain't be with Torres.
Got more power than Torres.
He don't even want to be. Did you see his life?
I haven't seen it for a while.
Okay.
I know
he had a fight recently. Not Bacola. He had another fight recently.
Mm-hmm.
He fought some guy from like Denmark.
Oh yeah,
Poland.
He wasn't even on
something like that. He was like damn near on the prelims.
Yeah.
Top Rank, they pissed off with him. But like it was really uninspiring. Yeah, he looked awful. If the guy would let his hands go more, I think he might have even lost that fight. It was bad. Like it wasn't like if you look at it, it wasn't encouraging.
Yeah, but
so unless he performs way above what he showed us.
So you're saying because I know he brought out sometime on Instagram that he likes music or something better or something.
Likes music?
I don't know, something he liked that I forgot what it was.
Okay, then they hand the gloves and go to the studio.
I'm just gonna say you can't half-ass boxing. I'll never forget the statement that Stacey McKinley says, you ain't coming in here and just gonna work a part-time job and come in and practice your boxing and think you're gonna be a champion overnight. You're a boxer 24/7,
365.
Yeah. So,
shit, like Anthony Joshua said, 25 to 8 if you can. Like, that's what it requires from you, Michael Hunter versus Richard Torres, that's a good fight. That's damn near
old though.
He's not old. He's just he's not the most exciting fighter to watch. I can see Michael Hunter winning that fight though.
Yeah.
Michael Hunter's crafty.
Right.
He's real crafty. I can see him winning that fight.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him fight in a minute.
I saw him fight last June. I saw him fight last June on the Blair Cobb.
Did you? Because it was his brother. Remember his brother? He had to get him out the ring. His brother?
Keith.
Yeah, he got pissed off on the referees the fight. I said, holy crap.
So we'll see. Are you planning on attending the Times Square card? No, I am not going to the Times Square card because that's the same week that Naoya Inoue is fighting in the States. And I already booked my plane ticket to Vegas and I've already applied for my press pass. So hopefully I get to cover the fight. But either way, I'm going to be in Vegas that week. So that's the plan. I'll be in Vegas for that fight. And plus, they're not even gonna have this stuff. Like, there's no guarantee that I would even get. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is I'm gonna be in Vegas that week. That's what I do know. They want to know what are my thoughts on these other YouTube channels who I'm not gonna say by name. I don't talk about the YouTube channels.
God bless them.
God bless them. I don't have any thoughts.
Yeah.
I just focus on what I gotta do. Because I'm in the YouTube boxing community, but I'm not of the YouTube boxing community. I just stay to myself and
focus on me.
And I focus on me and I focus on what I gotta do. But shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
You know? But look, guys, we're an hour and 50 minutes in. You tired, Pops?
I mean, I'm okay right now.
Tired? How tired are you?
I have to be tired. I get some rest, but I mean, how about you?
I'll go about 10. I'll go in even 2 hours. We're gonna go another 10 more minutes, guys, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Because I give you guys, we gave you a damn near 4-hour live stream on Saturday, 3 hours yesterday.
We're trying to get back.
We're here.
Welcome back.
True School is here.
Yeah.
So
and thank you all for being here too.
Yeah.
Shit.
LPG wants to know is Ramon Cardenas gonna get smoked? I gotta go watch him some more. I mean, if I just go by the odds, my paper, he probably should get smoked, but I have to watch him more. I've only seen the Brian Acosta fight.
Will you be excited? It's off the wall, but will you say when if Zoo one time they make that fight? I think one time say he'll fight Zoo.
Tim Zoo gotta beat Joey Spencer.
Come on, man.
Gotta be him. You can't say come on. He lost the last 2 fights. What you mean? Come on. I thought he was gonna beat Fundora. He didn't beat Fundora. I thought he was gonna beat Bakram. He didn't beat Bakram. So you need to get past Joey Spencer.
And to be fair with the one time, he won that fight, but I mean, you think he's ready to fight as Tim Zoo?
I don't. No matter what I think, he thinks he's ready. So give him what he's asking for. Okay. Masamichi Ibuki versus Puma Martinez to be a firefight.
Whatever happened to him, Puma Martinez?
He's got a fight. So he was
right?
No. He was he got injured. He pulled out of the Kazuda Ioka fight. I was supposed to see that fight live.
Yeah,
I was in Japan.
Yeah, I was excited.
I had my tickets. I was ready to go.
Yeah, but Puma was one of my favorite
fighters. By the way,
I like Puma.
Getting tickets to that fight was a pain in the ass. Because to buy a ticket to that fight in Japan, it's not like here in the States.
They have their own system.
You need to go. You need to have a Japanese address. You need to have a Japanese address. All this stuff. I had to use my friend's address and his phone number to buy these damn tickets.
Holy crap!
And so it was a whole thing. And then he didn't pull out, so I was upset.
I'm sure some travel don't understand the system.
But they're fighting in May. Fighting in May. But as far as that fight, I think if it would have happened, Ibuki and Puma Martinez would be a good fight. I want Puma. That would require Ibuki to move up another weight class.
Strong, yeah. I like Puma.
Ibuki actually gets called out Anthony Olaskuaga.
Did he?
For unification fight.
He just got his ass kicked, didn't he?
They gave it to him, but yeah.
He got his ass kicked.
He fought Kiyoguchi and they gave it to him.
Oh my God.
So I think if Ibuki fight, that's a firefight. Olaskuaga versus Ibuki.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this.
You interviewed him too.
Who?
Olaskuaga.
It's crazy is people don't even know this. I was supposed to interview Ibuki when I was in Japan. We talked on Instagram.
Right.
He was kind of out the way, and
right.
I'd already blew a bunch of money on stuff. So I could. Timing was off. That Japan stuff. It was
crazy.
People just see the interview. They don't know everything. What to get those interviews. The whole process. I thought Acosta. Let me go to switch chat first. Cardenas has a very good shot. He's being overlooked 100%. He's a good fighter. Look, one thing about these pro box fighters, the guy gets on pro box, they've been putting tough.
Yeah.
And pro box has done a great job, whether it be Angelo, Lamont Roach, or whoever the case may be. He's good. I just, he's a good fighter, but he's gonna have to rise to a different level, as everyone has to when they fight the monster.
Yeah.
Because we know how he's coming.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he handles it. But I gotta watch him a little more, to be honest. There's no way Olaskuaga deserves that W. Yeah, I thought he lost.
He got his ass kicked.
Who do I think Jadir Herrera should fight next to put him in position to get the shot at Shakur's WBC belt? It's crazy how people are talking about Jadir. You probably don't even know who Jadir Herrera is. He's this Cuban. He talks crazy though. He be talking that crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I fucking kill you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jadir Herrera, he was one of the 2 options that Shakur had when Schofield pulled out.
Okay.
It was between him and the electrician.
Who he picked?
Well, he didn't pick anybody. It wasn't him that was doing it. Turkey picked the electrician because Joshua Padley beat Mark Chamberlain, who was like one of Turkey's favorite fighters. Because Turkey had this guy, Mark Chamberlain. He loved this guy.
Right.
Which tells you everything you need to know. Turkey don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
But Padley beat Mark Chamberlain, so he gave Padley the chance, which I was happy for Padley.
Right.
to be a blue collar worker
you're not hating nobody,
and have a 9 to 5 and have the wherewithal to maintain or to get this opportunity. Good for him.
Yeah.
But I would rather have seen Johnny Herrera, southpaw, big time puncher. You know, he's Cuban, so he got a little amateur experience. Let's you know what? Let's look, man. I don't have an answer for you, so let's pull up the ranking because I don't really have an answer I could give you.
Who's he fighting next?
Johnny Herrera.
I mean, what weight class?
You said Shakur, lightweight. So right now, as it stands, Johnny Herrera is your number 10 ranked WBC contender. So look, I would like to see him fight. I think Joe Cordina will be a good fight. Joe Cordina is ranked above him. He has a higher ranking than Johnny Herrera. Mm-hmm. Joe Cordina is former world champion, and Joe Cordina was a fighter that Shakur Stevens had a contract to fight.
And never fought.
And because of Cordina pulled out. So I think if you could beat him, then you kind of take his spot in the queue because that's a fight that they have in their back pocket.
Right.
I like that fight. And if not that, maybe if you want to go down the rankings a little bit, you can go fight another extra Shakur Stevenson opponent. You can fight Ichiro Yoshino. He's 14. He's a big puncher. You know, but if they really, really want to roll the dice and they really, really want to get Shakur's attention, I see two fighters where if they can get the fight on the line and make the fights happen, I think it could get a Shakur Stevenson fight if he can win.
Right.
Those two fights are he could fight number 7 Abdullah Mason, or he could fight number 1 Andy Cruz.
Who's this?
Johnny Herrera. Now look, I've seen Johnny Herrera fight. He's a good fighter. I don't think he'd be. I think Abdullah would put him in a bin. They fought right now. He's not ready for Abdullah, or maybe he is ready. I just don't think he has the skills to beat Abdullah. Right. And then maybe Andy, but you know what? Maybe Andy Cruz. Maybe Andy Cruz, because Andy Cruz he's being moved along nice and slowly. You know.
But you still think they're marrying that fight with Keyshawn Davis?
To answer your question, next gen, I'll say Joe Cordina and Yoshino. Go for Shakur Stevenson opponents, and I think that would be a great way to get attention. Mm-hmm. But again, if he was able to fight those guys, this guy fought Abdullah Mason,
come on,
and beat him. Yeah. Now they gotta really, really start paying attention because Abdullah Mason is regarded by many as quite possibly the best young fighter in American boxing.
Next year soon, I'm coming for a title. I can watch out for him.
One is Hrgović or Joyce again. Hrgović to win by stoppage. It's this weekend. It'll be out, and we'll be live for it. So make sure you guys tune in for the live fight reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get down for business.
Yeah. Yeah, his defense ain't up to par. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of guys will beat him right now. He punched, got some amateur experience, but you know, I'm not banging the drum. But I like Johnny here. I think he would have been a good fight in that circumstance. But
I'm not really.
He needs more experience, I think.
But shout out to Cuban boxing though.
Yeah. Is there any meaning of your YouTube channel name, True School? That's a good question. That's a hell of a question. What's the meaning of my YouTube channel name? So
he's real.
No, I'll say so.
That's what I say.
We're in 2025 now?
Yeah.
Damn, so time's flying by. So 13 years ago, in 2012.
Yeah.
Before YouTube, before I ever started making YouTube videos, what people don't know about me was I used to have my own little blog, like on blog. If you guys ever heard of Blogspot, I used to have my own Blogspot page back in 2012. So when I was in high school, I used to write a lot of articles about basketball and shit like that. And I was in the Dania Beach Library one day where I'm from, and I was just writing down names. I'm sitting there just writing down names. I'm like, that sounds corny. That sounds good, right? And so I listened to a lot of hip hop, and I've always heard this weird term. I've heard true school, like the term true school rap song mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm like I Googled what the hell does true school mean, because I would hear it in rap songs. I've heard it like a bunch of like underground rap songs I listen to. And true school just means you have variations of old school and new school together. It's the happy medium, right? And I feel like that's kind of how I am. I feel like, I mean, at the time, I was a young guy. I'm still a young guy. I'm not old, but I don't necessarily think like a young person in my generation. I think kind of old school in a lot of ways. So I'm somewhere in the middle. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's the best explanation I can give you. Yeah. Shout out to Hyro again under another spam account. He says, "Why don't you guys talk about Gary Anson Russell? He's he is going to unify. Unlike Richardson Hitchens, you always talk about Teal, but Teal never unifies. Africa wants a washed-up fighter. To be fair, Hitchens is only talking about George Campbell. He ain't talking about fighting. It's mandatory.
Right.
He's talked here and there about Teal. Gary Anton Russell.
Against him?
That's a good fight. They fought in the amateurs. I think Gary beat him.
Did he?
Gary beat him in the amateurs.
Gary was good without him. I thought Gary was going to lose. He beat the shit out of the guy.
I'll tell you this. I like to see Gary versus Matias. Gary versus Matias would be like crazy. That'd be like a crazy fight. But why don't we talk about Gary Anton Russell? I don't know, man. He don't really talk a whole lot, and he just fought.
He beat somebody, got a belt.
And I just got done talking about him. But I guess if people like yourself keep mentioning him, I will talk about him.
Yeah,
you know.
The only thing I know about Gary Anton Russell that he got a free victory against my son's favorite fighter from what's his name, from the country. Remember when they were fighting? The guy got a free give peaks out with a P. Postal.
Oh yeah, he had a questionable. It wasn't a gift. He was winning the fight.
Okay, yeah.
But it was a questionable stoppage.
Yeah.
He had a couple of those, but who doesn't? Who doesn't have a couple of those? TSM Harden says, "Who are my top 3 rappers, dead or alive?" That's a great question. And the answer to this question can change varying on when you talk to them. Because I'll say I'm a big Nas fan, so I'll say Nas. I like Nas a lot. I like Little Brother. I don't know if you're little brother. Fonte. I like Fonte a lot. And then we'll go right now. Right now, I've been listening to a lot of Jadakiss. So I'll say those 3 right now. But that sometimes
ask me tomorrow.
Ask me tomorrow. It could be Tupac. You know, you ask me.
Boy.
You know, it could be it can change. You catch it another day. It could be Kendrick. It could be J. Cole. You know. Kenya? I think right now those are the 3 that I'm listening to. Yeah. True School, I like the Cordina fight or the Yoshino fight for him, but sadly, I think Eddie and Shakur are saving the Cordina fight for Shakur when he can't find a good opponent. And I think you're probably right, so that's not going to happen.
Damn. They haven't put him in anything yet, right? How about that? I want to see was Nakatani calling him out? What's the guy that was calling out Shakur about a month ago out of the ring?
Oh, Mercado.
Yeah.
Ernesto Mercado?
Yeah, man, shit. Like you said, Shakur eat him up, right?
I don't know if he beat him right now.
Okay.
Because Mercado had the experience, but that's a good fight for the future.
Yeah.
Thing is, I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I think he's a lightweight now, but he's gonna be a 40-pounder at some point.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a 40-pounder.
Yeah.
If you look at his frame,
he's
gonna be a 40-pounder at some point. BT, do you think Nunez will finally bring Mexico a victory versus Japan? That's a great question because Mexico been getting their ass waxed by Japan. You had Cuellar got lost to Nakatani recently. Yeah. Inoue lost to Neri, or Neri lost to Inoue.
It's the year of the Japanese.
Who else lost?
Jesus, the year of the Japanese.
Yeah, there's a couple more I can't remember right now. I think this is the first time in a while. I mean, even Yabuki when he fought Ayala, that was. I think this is the best chance Mexico's had in a big fight against Japan in recent memory. Unless I'm forgetting a fight, but like all the recent fights, I would say he should. I'll tell you this: if Yabuki, if Masnur Rikishi beats Nunez, then right now like Japan just got out. If Rikishi beats Nunez, I'm gonna start worrying about Angelo in Japan because something's in the air. Yeah, something is in the air over there. Like, truth be told. But I'll say Nunez wins. Bam is overrated, and shout out to Jairo again. Bam is overrated, fighting old men. But Danny fought Morales. He gets no credit. Or Khan who got knocked out. What's the difference, man? At least Danny sells. That's Jairo comment.
It's crazy. You know him like a book.
I don't got a rebuttal because I'm going to talk to him on the phone at some point. I got a rebuttal. You go to bed?
Yeah, I got to go.
All right, so look, Pop's going to go to bed.
Good night, guys.
And truth be told, guys, I'm dead tired. Yeah. And I give you guys 2 hours. And I appreciate everyone who's
good or bad comments. Thank you.
Good comments, bad comments. Everyone who's it's funny. Like now we're ending the live. We got my man Philippians 4:13 in the building.
Wow, how you doing?
He said the goats are back live. Boxing heads.
God bless you.
Taking layoffs like Terrence Crawford.
Isn't this the guy that the bet's good?
Kentucky Derby.
He's good with
Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, that's
like Ali.
Hey, the Derby's coming up, man. The Derby's coming up. I've been watching them. I don't know who's gonna win. I'm watching the horses though. Yeah, the triple crown.
Triple Crown?
Yeah, they got a Triple Crown. Yeah.
Okay.
We have to go to Kentucky and go see him. He said one day we have to go. We said we're gonna go. Yeah.
We'll go to
Yeah. But I watch horse racing too.
Yeah, but yeah.
Anyways,
thank
you for seeing you, man. God bless.
Yeah. But look, guys, on that note, look, we've been live for 2 hours. I'm tired. I gotta be up tomorrow. I gotta go work out.
Yeah.
Stop being a fat ass and go work out. But listen, you guys take care.
That's the motherfucker right here.
I'm not sure if I'll be live tomorrow. I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow. If I'm not live tomorrow, then the next live will be on Wednesday. But I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow. Hopefully, some things happen in boxing so we can talk about more things. But thank you guys. Take care. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.